Three.
Okay, audio's good.
All right.
Sorry.
And we're live. What's up, bigots? 100 bigots waiting in the chat. I'm here with Jon Venus and my buddy Bobby from Bobby's Perspective. We're going to be talking about Egggate. We're going to be talking about. Oops, I got my speakers on there. We're going to be talking about Egggate. Jon Venus ate some eggs, allegedly. We're going to get to the bottom of this. What's up, everybody? What's up, John? How's it going, man?
It's going well. How's it going with you guys?
It's going good, man. It's nice to have you here. It's been a while. I think it's like 6 or 8 months since you were here last, right?
Yeah, closing into a year, I think. Yeah, time flies.
Yeah. So almost a year since you've been on here. That's crazy. And Bobby, what's up, Bobby? Great to have
Or
you as
maybe not.
always.
That it feels like a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tristan. Is it really already 1 year ago? I remember when I came down to Europe, I had the first talk with John as well. I think that was around about March, April, right?
Right, yeah, not a
Yeah.
year yet. Yeah, you're right.
Something half a year or so.
So Bobby, you've been not vegan for like a year now, right? At least a year.
It is my anniversary, bro.
Your non-vegan
Happy
anniversary.
ex-vegan day. Yeah, it is December last year. I'm not too sure. Was it November, December? I can't really recollect. Something on those lines. But it has been definitely 1 full year now. 1 full year of
You
carnivore.
left veganism a year ago. I gotta say, Bobby's been one of the more outspoken ex-vegans, one of the more brazenly outspoken ex-vegans. Very critical of the vegan diet. For you guys who don't know Bobby's channel, Bobby's Perspective. Jon Venus also has a channel, Jon Venus on YouTube. I guess maybe we can give a little introduction to the situation here. John put out a video about eating eggs. He put out a video saying I had some eggs, and it caused quite the backlash. And John's been a vegan for 5 years. He's a major vegan influencer in the space here. So yeah, John, what's going on here, man? What's up with this video, this egg video, Egggate?
Well, you want me to recap the whole thing?
Well, I mean, what made you want to make this video? What led up to this video?
That's a great question. And it's a good way to clarify things in a little bit more of a long format because it's really hard to create a lot of context in a quick video. But so it was around a year ago where I decided to do this little experiment, something that, I'm not proud of, something that I did out of curiosity for myself. At the time, I was at a lower point in my life in terms of not being able to do like lifting and working out and that kind of stuff because I had a pretty, severe, not severe, but it's like I had a herniated disc. And, it's like I was out of the gym for a very long time, which has never happened before. I've never struggled with the injury before. So it was something that I was not used to. So I have to say that because of that, and also because I wanted to be responsible as a parent to see if I, all of a sudden, no matter how much I believe in the vegan diet, no matter how much I am a supporter of the vegan diet, would I notice a improvement if I ate, some backyard eggs from a local neighbor in Spain? So that was basically the experiment. It was actually Catherine watched the video yesterday and she was like, "Why are you lying, John?" I was like, "What do you mean?" It was like, "You didn't eat 12 eggs." I was like, "What?" No, you bought 12 eggs, but apparently I only ate 3 or 4. So it wasn't 12. Not that it matters anyway. But yeah, I didn't feel anything. Not that I was expecting to feel anything when it was such a short experiment anyway. But it's just something that for some reason my brain, thought it was a good idea to do, and it was a worthwhile experiment. And it is what it is. I don't have any regrets. We're all humans. There is nothing wrong in that because it came from a place of love, and that's how I justify it, and I don't see any problems with it.
So all right, there's a lot to unpack there. That's
Yeah,
a
sure.
good. It's a good summary of the video. Very similar vibe that's in the video too. But it seems like you're not really sure about why you did it. Can you just clarify a little bit more about why you say your brain wanted to do it? We talked about the timeline a little bit too, right? It was a year ago that you and I talked. It was about a year ago that Bobby and you talked as well, right? Which it seems like it was just yesterday. But was this around that time when you were when you talked to Bobby and myself that this happened? Was this before, after? When was this?
This was definitely before. So there was this image that was going around, and that was maybe around the same time that we talked. The image of me vlogging in my fridge, or my how do you say, parents-in-law, parents-in-law's fridge, basically.
Yeah,
And
someone
I
sent me that
had
picture. Someone sent me a screenshot from Instagram, and they're like, "Look, John's
right.
got eggs in his
That
thing."
exactly. So the misconception is that that was, when I was actually doing the experiment, but that was, there are always cartons of eggs. Like, I can go right now and open the fridge, and there'll be a couple dozen eggs in there. So that was not the time. The time was before then. It was closer to the time where I made the video, about my frustration, about the hate that people who are quitting the vegan diet were getting, basically. Yeah. So at the peak of my back injury, basically.
I see Bobby's ticking away right there. I think Bobby looks like he's got something on his mind. You got anything to?
I'm just
Yeah.
wondering now. I'm really trying to listen to this and to comprehend it, but I don't
Yeah.
really understand it still. So, round about that time, you had some doubts. You were thinking about your kid. I understand that, but why would you test 1 or 2 or 3 or 12 eggs on yourself? What difference would that make for you then to know, quote unquote, what kind of diet you would put your kid on? I
Right,
don't really
less
see.
than a dozen eggs, and this was going to be the experiment that would tell you what the optimal diet would be for a growing child with,
Exactly.
very,
I don't
very,
understand that.
yeah. So how do those connect there?
Yeah. So obviously, I never believed that it was enough time. And to be honest, for these experiments or for these things to work, you need to do it for a longer period of time, right? But I just didn't feel like I could do it. After the whatever how many eggs I ate, I just couldn't do it anymore, because I felt, I didn't feel good. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I couldn't take a shit, and I was feeling worse. So why continue, right?
But
And
leading up
it's
to it,
not
it
that I
sounds like you
was.
had a lot of stress. Did you have a lot of distress about the whole situation? It sounds like there couldn't have been a more conflicting situation for you. It sounds like you were, at the edge of like psychological breakdown when this happened, right? And wouldn't that stress out your digestion? Wouldn't that? So you had how many eggs did you eat? Less than a dozen, and it destroyed you.
Yeah,
And you couldn't poop, and it was just so terrible,
it
and you felt
didn't.
so bad from
It didn't.
from less than a dozen
Yeah, I mean,
eggs.
that goes to say something, right? I mean, like, if you can't handle, that small of amount after having such a pure, clean diet, then that's all I needed for myself personally, to come to the conclusion that eggs are nowhere,
Right, because
needed in my diet or
the
anyone
pure
else.
clean diet of like Beyond Burgers and soy and processed grains, that just makes it so hard for you to digest all the unclean things like animal
Yeah,
foods.
yeah, fuck,
The
yeah,
filthy eggs. But if you really look at this experiment as well, right? You look at it and you say you tried animal foods. If you would say, now I'm going to try veganism, that means you would have to go 100% plant based. That would be a plant based experiment. For you to see the power, quote unquote, of animal foods, you would have to have a clean animal foods experiment, at least a couple of mono meals, at least a day or so to see what's up. But you said you were
yeah,
eating all the plant based food on top of that. How can you say
yeah.
it
No,
was
I
definitely the egg?
no, I agree that I didn't do it the way that you're supposed to do it. But at the same time, what I always heard from a lot of people who I was personally close friends with, and people from social media, is that they felt so depleted, so bad on a
Mm.
vegan diet, that when they ate, 3 eggs or 1 egg or whatever, they immediately felt it straight away. And this is not me, making shit up. Like, there's a lot of people on the internet making videos saying the exact same thing. So um, that was the main thing that I was, wanting to kind of like debunk in my own mind.
So you set out to
Mm.
prove to yourself that you didn't need eggs. And it was a successful experiment, right? You set out to prove to yourself that eggs weren't necessary, that you wouldn't feel good when you ate them, and you proved it to yourself.
That's right.
And why do you think you wanted to prove that to yourself so bad, though? Like, why the desire to tell
Well,
yourself this or
well,
to
here,
demonstrate this to
here's
yourself?
so imagine if it was true what I was hearing, if there was a scenario where a well planned plant-based diet was so bad that your back injury, just gets worse and worse, and by introducing a little bit of animal products, everything gets fixed. if
For
that
one
were the
day.
case,
So you
I
thought
would
that
say, hey,
one day would
Yeah,
make
yeah, exactly.
one
You
day
can't
would
fix it
make
in one day
how would one day
or
fix
3
your
days.
back? How would that? I don't get it.
no, that's not what I was expecting either. But that's what a lot of other people were saying, right? So,
So that's the bar you
um,
No,
set.
but
You have to
nobody
be.
was
That's
saying nobody was
nobody said
saying
that.
that.
Go ahead.
No, nobody was saying that anybody healed their injuries within a couple of days. I had a couple of injuries due to veganism, and it took me a couple of months. What started was the healing process. Still, it took a couple of months of healing, right? I had torn
yeah,
biceps and whatnot. I need a lot of collagen-rich
yeah.
foods. So you won't fix anything in a couple of days.
Right. It's like, oh, if I
No,
go
I agree
plant
with
based,
that.
if I go plant based for a day, if I go plant based for a day, and my screwed up hip and my scoliosis doesn't get fixed, and my
Gone.
you know, my
Yeah,
you know, my night terrors and my PTSD, and none of that was fixed on my plant based diet for one day. Therefore, plant based diet debunked. Right. I mean, that's kind of doesn't seem
yeah.
like a very.
No, I mean, like, I'm not saying that what I did was smart. It was definitely a stupid thing, but it is what it is. Like, we all do stupid shit. You guys do a lot of stupid shit too, and
Like
it is
like
what it
what?
is, man.
Like what?
What else?
Like what?
What do you mean? Like eating carnivore diet?
But what is stupid about that?
What's stupid about not
No,
eating?
it's not stupid. It's not that's it's not a stupid thing in itself because you're doing it out of the right place, and I know that you guys have good intentions, so it's not a stupid thing unless you run into problems health wise. Then you may come to the conclusion that maybe it wasn't the smartest idea.
How do you
Well, the-
qualify a healthy diet? What is a
How do I
healthy?
personally do it?
Yes.
I mean, for me, it has to be, from real food, from whole foods, and then it has to make you feel good and optimal. You have to feel energetic. You have to feel like you have, I don't know, libido. You have to feel like you don't have any brain fog. You have to feel sharp. These things, I
So
think.
so not the vegan diet then, right?
Oh, 100% vegan.
No, you said the food has to be whole foods. You have to derive
Yeah.
nutrition from whole foods.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what about
Veganism
protein?
Most of
doesn't contain B12, doesn't contain D3, DHA, EPA. So you're
Yep.
not getting it from whole foods. So by that definition, your definition doesn't add up.
I don't take any omega-3s. I do once in a while, maybe like once every couple months, just because I felt like it, because I get it for free. But I don't take D3. I don't take omega-3. I do take B12 sometimes,
Yeah.
just because my wife forces me. But I know many vegans who have never taken B12 either. And I don't think that it is a good thing not to take B12 because the top professionals do recommend it. But I do believe that you don't need it if you're eating and living in a natural way, which is very, very hard in this modern world. So,
Well, what about
What would be a natural way?
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Tristan, can I just know
Oh,
what
God, that's a
natural
great
way is?
question. I would have asked the same.
Cool.
natural way, as in getting a lot of outdoor time. Like getting your hands dirty in dirt, drinking water from streams, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And diet-wise?
And what about diet?
Yeah, how does veganism tie into natural eating?
No, you mentioned
Anyway.
like natural. If you live in a natural way, if you eat in a natural way,
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
going to need supplements. So what about the diet?
Yeah, I mean, whole foods are natural, right? Like, I mean, obviously, you can make the point that no food today is natural because it's all been man-made. But
How do you,
apart from
so
that,
if
like,
if human beings touch something or change something, that makes it not natural. As soon as man comes in contact with something, it's not natural.
I don't know. I'm not interested in wordplay. Like, it doesn't matter to me what is natural, what is not natural. For
But
me,
you
the only
just
thing
said that
matters
you're
is
basing
that,
you said that you're basing the framework on what's natural, and if you live in a natural way, then it's healthy. But when I ask you what natural is and why humans aren't natural, that's word games.
Yeah, and you say natural doesn't matter, all of a sudden you brought it up.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
what I'm
ask.
saying is that. So you asked me what a healthy diet is. A healthy diet is a diet coming from whole foods rather than processed, junk and that kind of stuff. And that to me means natural, and a natural way of living for people who are able to survive on a plant-based diet without any B12, without any supplementation, that is in a natural way, meaning, you're outside in nature, as people did 100 years ago.
100 years ago, they were eating vegan in nature.
No, they were definitely not doing that, but it doesn't mean that it wouldn't be possible.
Okay. Tristan, do you want to move on this topic?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
should
yeah.
we
Well,
continue?
I mean, it's such an interesting video. The way that it came across, it was so like you felt so guilty. You felt so bad, and this happened a year ago. Why did you feel a need to confess now? And why, why bring it up and why bring it out into the open like now? Like
That's a
what's
very good question. So what I have experienced lately, more than before, actually, is I think it's because when a lot of people come into the vegan lifestyle, there will always be more people with concern, right? It's supply and demand, and a lot of people have been messaging me on Instagram after watching, other people who come out about saying that they didn't thrive on a vegan diet. A lot of people reach out, send messages, and ask me if I am certain about the vegan diet, if I know for sure that they're getting all the nutrients that they need. And a lot of people also show concern because they fear that they're lacking something, and they say that they're considering trying to eat something. And then other people have come to me and said that they were very skeptical because of maybe people like yourself, and then they actually went and ate a steak for a month, and they got even worse in their health. So
can you
I figured that this
you want
video,
to
coming out with
show
this video
wait who
and
how many
explaining
people
my,
got worse eating animal foods after leaving a vegan diet? How many people got worse? I haven't seen
it
a single
depends on
one
the
of these. I
definition
haven't
of the
seen a
vegan diet.
single one of these. I'm trying to
Yeah,
get
I'd say
corroboration
100%.
on.
If it's a healthy vegan diet, I'd say 100%.
How many people did you talk to personally that said they were eating a carnivorous diet with no plant foods after veganism and they felt worse? How many?
Well, you two are the only carnivores I know of, so yeah, I'm not in touch with that many.
Okay, I thought you said
Okay.
something about somebody told you they were eating steak for a month and they felt way worse, so they had to go back to veganism. It just sounded like
Oh,
something that
no,
I
no,
haven't
they
seen.
didn't eat only steak. They didn't go on a carnivore diet. They were eating a regular, I guess, diet with added steak. I mean, nobody would, I'm not going to say nobody, but most people wouldn't want to, experiment with a carnivore diet. Like, regular people just wouldn't want to do it. So I've never come across someone who's vegan and then did a carnivore experiment. That would be super interesting.
There's actually what
But
I
I
find
don't
it's
know.
There are
interesting.
thousands of testimonials like exactly
Yeah,
that.
what I find is
Thousands.
the
Yeah.
carnivore community is filled with a lot of ex-vegans because, well, there are many different
Yeah.
reasons why, but one of the reasons is because a lot of them have their gut completely destroyed by veganism and they feel better when they go
Exactly.
fully carnivore. I mean, Bobby's one of those. I mean, I think at this point,
100%.
yeah, I think Bobby might be the most prominent ex-vegan who's kind of had to go full carnivore. You got Drew. Drew was a little bit carnivore for a little while, and now he's kind of on a mixed diet. Um,
Mm.
but a lot of
Trader.
these vegans are not trader. Yeah, yeah. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing people go off of veganism and then go back. It's just so
Hmm.
rare. That would be a good. You should interview some of these people. Maybe put them on your channel, and if you're trying to promote the vegan angle.
Absolutely true. It's a very important factor here because, like myself, I had a lot of gut issues due to all the grains and beans and whatnot. And then I had to remove everything, right? So if you have still inflammatory foods in your diet and you're not improving, it is because you didn't cut out those plant foods. So therefore, that would be, again, not an honest experiment. You would have to cut them out and eat the meat.
Well, the inflammatory foods are the animal products, right? So you could make the
You don't
case
have any
for.
proof for that.
Which animal products are
Well, you
inflammatory, and
haven't.
which animal products are inflammatory, and how do they cause inflammation? What in them
Are you
causes
saying that
inflammation?
we don't have proof that animal products are inflammatory, but we have proof that plants are inflammatory?
There are many
Yeah, absolutely.
inflammatory plants. There are very, very many inflammatory plants. Go eat stinging nettle without preparing it properly. See what
Hmm.
happens.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're saying that every person that goes to the doctor gets a blood work after going on a high meat diet and has elevated levels of C-reactive protein or whatever kind of inflammation markers,
Who
that
does
it
that?
was
Who
because
has
of
that?
small amounts of plants?
Who
Exactly.
gets that?
Oh,
Who
a
gets
ton
that?
of people.
Which people?
Ton of
Show
people.
us one.
Who are
Show
those?
us one person that came from veganism, went towards a more keto or
Yeah.
carnivorous diet, a whole foods, animal-based diet, and had higher inflammatory markers. I would love to see that.
Keto and
Yeah.
carnivore is pretty much the guarantee that you will have zero C-reactive protein. in every single case, man. I've never seen any inflammation in keto and carnivore dieters, ever. Show me one. And not a
Okay, I
study
mean,
on omnivores.
I have to admit that I haven't looked into people who have done it on a purely carnivore diet, so I can't comment on that. But obviously, people who have meat in their diet definitely have issues with inflammation.
So
And
that's
I mean,
everybody. Everybody in the world has
thousands
meat in
of-
their diet. 97% of the population has meat in their diet, and it's because of the meat that some of the population is inflamed.
Could you explain
Correlation is not
why?
causation.
Could you explain why someone on a keto diet or a low carb diet who gets their blood work done and has higher inflammation markers, who goes on a whole food plant-based diet, lowers their inflammation markers then?
Who? When?
I don't know. So many people.
So many
I
people.
mean, we can just take one prominent example, right, of the keto and the carnivore community. Take Dr. Eric Berg or Dr. Sean Baker. Check their C-reactive protein, 0. Right? Just 2
Yeah,
examples.
I mean.
Well,
yeah,
it can't be
they're-
technically. It wouldn't
they're-
ever be 0, but very, very close to 0, right? Very, very low.
Yeah.
CRP is never going to be absolute 0, right? But yeah,
and it's
I
also
just
not the only marker for inflammation either. For general health, it's we're
cool.
not.
So
supposed to only look
which
at
markers for
right?
inflammation? Which markers for inflammation do animal foods rise? Right? Which inflammation markers are animal foods going to make increase, and why does that happen?
I don't know. You should ask Dr. Greger.
That'd be great. I'd love to have Gregor on.
No. I mean, if you look at plant foods, man, you look at the seeds, the grains, you have the lectins, right? You look at the nuts, you have the phytic acids. You look at the beans, you have enzyme inhibitors, you have the tannins, so on and so forth. The leaves, they have the oxalates. So every single plant food is problematic, right? Because you definitely do have those anti-nutrients. And that can lead to inflammation, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Could you guys? So who are the main kind of people who you guys, get your information from?
I don't get my information from any one person. I don't appeal to authorities like Dr. Greger or myself. I don't think that any one person is the arbiter of truth and of what is real, right? So I guess
You don't repeat or say anything that anyone else who is.
We don't say anything that
carnivore
anyone knows.
promoter says.
Can you clarify the question?
Okay.
Just clarify the question. I'm not sure what you're asking.
No, I'm saying that you don't take information from other carnivores and then learn something from them and then pass it on to your audience.
You mean if we learn something from
Excuse
other
me?
people?
We're not allowed to learn
like
things.
other carnivore experts like Sean Baker, Bart K. Are you guys getting your information from them? That's what I'm asking.
I would say that we have, of course, a lot of information, but I wouldn't appeal to anyone in particular to say he is the ultimate authority, that everything
That's
that he
good.
says is correct. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of
inspiration,
information.
much more than information.
There's a lot of information
Okay.
available.
No, I just wanted to know. That's a good answer.
There's tons of information available to everybody. There's no one source of good information, right? It's like there's nobody in the non-vegan world that everybody appeals to, right? It's very different from the vegan cult.
Sure.
Right, so we can't just appeal to Dr. Greger, His Holiness, the Dr. Greger. But
Yeah.
all right, so
I mean,
why the apologetic? Why so sorry, right? If you say I don't feel bad about doing this experiment, I don't feel bad, but why did you decide to come out and apologize to the camera and to the whatever audience it is that you were talking to? Why the need to apologize
when did I apologize?
in your video?
I didn't apologize a single time.
Oh, you didn't? All right. Well, let me take
Yeah.
a look. Let's see if we can.
Yeah. The only apology I made was I'm sorry for not telling you guys sooner.
Why should you have told them sooner?
I shouldn't have, but yeah, I guess it's just a way of saying things. Yeah. Everyone decides when to share things. Like just because you're a YouTuber or public figure doesn't mean you have to, share on the day that you lost your virginity or something like that, right? So, but I guess a year is a little bit long, especially because I'm vegan and what I'm doing is spreading information about health and fitness and a plant-based diet. So it's kind of hypocritical, in my view, to hold it for that long. But it's not right or wrong. I mean, everyone decides what to do. So.
Yeah.
That is something that I was wondering about. You said you as a vegan, right? And I talked about this on my live stream. So now as a vegan, you have a certain set of morals and ethics, a certain world view, right? And that is something that you cannot breach. You cannot break it as a vegan. Once you do, you step out of veganism. Can you step back again? Do you become a newborn vegan, or what is your title now?
Yeah, no, labels are labels and I don't enjoy them. I use them for marketing, and because it's a vegan,
Marketing.
the word vegan, yeah, I mean, like, because if you call yourself a banana man, like, no one's gonna know what you're doing. But if you use the
Really?
label vegan, then yeah, right. If you use the label vegan, then people know what you mean, and it's an ethical choice for me, which is what veganism actually is. But it doesn't mean that every vegan thinks the same way. Like, every single vegan that I surround myself with are the most awesome, most open-minded people who question absolutely everything, and they're not dogmatic in their views at all. So I'm not saying that there aren't like these extreme people on the plant-based scene who are just preaching 500 bananas a day or whatever. And I'm not, and definitely you can see the exact same thing on the keto space, the carnivore space. You can see it everywhere. So it's like the vegan movement is no exception.
You can see what everywhere?
You can see people who are extreme in their beliefs without questioning themselves or questioning authority or thinking in an open mind in any movement or anywhere.
Nice. Now I want let's take a look at the video. Or Bobby, you got a question?
No, it's all right. We can start with the video. We're gonna keep it for later.
Let's take a look at this video, because this is the video that's in question. This is the video that all these vegans are super pissed off at Jon about, and this is the video we're kind of grilling him about right now. And we got a bunch of people in the chat. Thanks for showing up, everybody. If you guys got any questions, you can throw the super chats out there. We can answer some super chat questions. The chat's going real fast, but yeah, we're gonna check out the video now, and I'll stop it periodically, and we can kind of just maybe analyze this and take a look. I'm not sure if have you watched it since you put it up, Jon?
Me?
Yeah.
My own video or someone else's video about me?
This video, I've got it. Here, let me show it to you guys. Excuse me. I got to change the video source on Zoom. The video that you put out, the I tried eating eggs video is what I'm talking about.
Oh, sure. I edited it myself, so yeah, I know what's in there.
All right. So now you guys see it. I got it pulled up here at the bottom.
Are we gonna go through the whole thing?
I don't think so. We want to take a little gander at the clips. We can watch the whole thing if you guys want, but I just want to kind of get a vibe and maybe show the audience what we're talking about and see your reaction to it.
Everyone, my name is Jon Venus. Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about a sensitive, personal topic, something that I've been wanting to get off my chest for a very long time, but haven't gotten around to it. But here I am today, being fully transparent and honest with you guys, and that is what I'm always trying to do. So I apologize for not bringing this up earlier, but I do believe that this can bring a lot of value to a lot of people who find themselves in a similar situation. And yeah, before you guys go, get your heart rates too high up, I'm still 100% vegan. I've been vegan for 5 years now, and I have zero plans of ever going back. So this happened a year ago, and what happened was that I started eating eggs again, or it was an experiment. About a year ago, my baby was born. My life completely, turned from, all me to me caring and being fully responsible, along with my wife, Catherine, for a human life form. I've never...
Okay, so your wife gave birth to a human life form, which I'm very glad it was a human life form.
Luckily.
Yeah, thank God it was a human life form. All right, so this is the first point that...
An avocado was going to come out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so... All right, so why did you bring that up first? I mean, this is a video about you, about your response, your physical response to having a few eggs. But it seems like in your mind, your child was at the forefront of your conscience. So was this? It seems like something was bothering your conscience with your child, who's vegan, who you raised on a vegan diet.
Mm-hmm. No, it was nothing. I've never had any questions or doubts about what we were doing for him, but I felt like if I did the experiment and felt any benefits, that it couldn't be the optimal diet, which means that I shouldn't feed my baby a plant-based diet.
Right. Okay. But you think a vegan diet is safe for children, for recently weaned kids? Or
if it's done properly, Yeah.
Okay.
And there is no one way to do it, right?
Just adding to the little discussion that we had prior to this, when Tristan said you apologized, I think it is not so much about saying sorry, but the way of you conducting yourself in that video. It comes off very apologetic. It comes off very as if you're tiptoeing around, being very, very careful. So I talked about this on my stream and I said, what do you think of your audience? If you perceive your audience, what do you think of them? That is something that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
What do I personally think of my audience?
Yes.
You know, the response that I got from the video was, you know, really like it, obviously like some people got upset, but the vast majority of people were, you know, very understanding and supportive until it got shared by other YouTubers, and then, you know, people who are not so familiar with what I'm about started hating on it as usual. But how I see my audience is, to be honest, I don't have as much of a clear picture as I used to, because I've pretty much been off of YouTube like properly for a year and a half or something, been focusing on Instagram, putting all my effort there. So I haven't, you know, I have to admit that I don't know my audience as well as I should. And I feel, you know, that's not a good thing, right? When you're a YouTuber. But I feel like, you know, it's the same as everywhere. You get 70% of people who, you know, are open-minded, who are kind and warm-hearted, and then you get the 30% of people who are maybe a little less open-minded, a little bit more critical, a little bit more judgmental, and take things a little bit more personal, a little bit more emotional. So I'd say, like, you know, it's a mix of people, but the vast majority of people, I think, at least the ones who have stayed around for a long time, you know, the vast majority are just people who vibe with me on a personal level.
Okay, so first and foremost, do you agree with me when I say it seems very apologetic, yes or no?
I mean, I guess I was, you know, I am saying something that is a little bit vulnerable, and it's not something that I'm proud of, right? Like, you know, it's not something that I thought was an amazing thing. So I guess maybe it does come across a little bit apologetic, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't feel sorry for it. So,
okay. Yeah, so if it comes off apologetic, why I'm asking this is because you said 70% of your audience, they're vibing with you on the same level. So my friends, they vibe with me on the same level, and I do not have to apologize to them for eating anything. This is why I ask, if they're on your vibe, why do you feel the need to apologize?
Well, I didn't apologize, but yeah, I felt like the video would be helpful for people who are uncertain, who are scared, who feel like they can't move on because of this fear of, you know, a lack of nutrition or something like that. So my point was, do whatever you have to do. If you can't get past the idea that, you know, you're missing something, or you have to try something, if you know, you can't go to bed, you can't go to sleep before trying something just for your own peace of mind, then do it, just like I did. But it's not something I recommend, but it's something that I was trying to come up, like, again, because of all the Instagram messages, all the private messages that I got with similar fears and concerns. That is why I decided to make the video. And it wasn't really for my, you know, main audience. It was more for those people who are actually messaging me.
But why were you so apologetic towards other vegans, right? Like Vegan Gains. This dude's hated you for so long, right? Vegan Gains has been shitting on you for a long time. And why look for his approval, right? Do you think that's like healthy? Do you think it's like a healthy community where you're always trying to grovel to people who hate you and are looking to step on your head as soon as they can, who are looking to pull you off the rung of the ladder above you just so they can climb up over you and virtue signal above your corpse? You know, like Vegan Gains, Corey McCarthy, all these videos that these dudes have been putting out, super spiteful towards you, right? They're like, Vegan Gains looked like he was about to cry with hatred in his video. Like, I mean, we could watch that video.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not looking for anyone's approval. Maybe, like, it comes across that way, especially if Richard posted a screenshot of me, like, messaging him. It looks like a, you know, a crazy ex-girlfriend or something like that. But, you know, I don't need, you know, someone else's approval of anything. I know what I'm doing.
I just want to add something before Tristan cut in. I found it a bit confusing because now you say that you are well aware that this little experiment couldn't do much, right?
Yeah.
Then, did you hear that? So now you say that you're well aware that it can't do much. However, then you say you wanted to show people that if they're uncertain, they should experiment. But then you say, I do not recommend experimentation. So where does that leave us?
No,
really
I said I do recommend experimentation if it's the only thing that will put your mind to rest. Obviously there are a million different things you can do to try to feel better. But if the only thing that is going to get you to move forward is to eat fish and eggs for a week, a month, or whatever, then why not? Like, if that is the only thing that is going to make you get past that little thing. So yeah, that's my whole point.
I mean, I agree with experimentation 100%. However, I cannot see a vegan agreeing with it. I think that when a vegan really thinks about experimenting for a whole month, pretty much veganism crumbled in his mind. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and I think this comes to the black and white, all or nothing mentality as well. Like, a lot of people in the carnivore space and the raw vegan space, the vegan space, a lot of people have this extremist, point of view where you have to, do everything or do nothing, or you have to, be super, religious about something, or, super religious the complete opposite way. So I don't think it's a healthy mindset to have. And I think a lot of people in both the carnivore, keto space, have this mindset. And I think a lot of people in the vegan space also have this mindset, but I don't see like how this mindset is going to help anyone. So
yeah, but with a big difference that in the vegan group, right, if you're eating meat, you are bad. In the carnivore group, even if you have people that will say, you know what, eating only meat is ideal.
Who says you're bad if you're eating meat?
I would say 99%
everybody that you were,
of the vegans.
Yeah, all the people that you were apologizing to in your confession video, right? The vegan gods of YouTube that you were confessing before.
Yeah, no, I mean, the vast majority of vegans that I know, the ones that I have met in real life, they don't represent the trolls that you find on the internet. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. If at some point I, go to a vegan event and everyone's like super, crazy, then, I'll change my mind. But it's never been my experience.
But we would all agree that veganism is the exclusion of animal foods, right? Or do you change the definition now? It is okay, not black and white, plant-based. What are we talking about?
Right. No, I mean, veganism is to reduce, the exploitation as much as practicably and as much as you can, basically, right? So it's not a perfect black and white thing, which is why I find it so strange for people to try to reach this godlike perfect thing, because it's not the truth. Like, people have, things they have to, do. People, if they want to wear their leather shoes and keep their couches, like, I don't see any problem with that at all after going vegan. Like, it's not a black and white thing. And I don't criticize, like, even if someone is 99, 95, 90% vegan, like, it's so much better than a standard American diet. So most people that I surround myself with,
in what way is it better,
very,
and why?
very much in support
why
of,
is
why
is it better? Why is it better more vegan? Why is more vegan better than less vegan?
Well, that's what the science is saying. And that is what everyone who's gone vegan, who I've met in real life, have experienced. So how can you expect me to draw any different conclusion?
Which science now? Again,
yeah, what science are you talking about?
Just
the science?
pick those vegan studies.
What is the science? What is the science?
So can I ask you one thing? Like, how is that cherry picking science when, what you guys are promoting has, a million times less data on it? So I don't know how you
what
can
are we
use that
promoting?
argument.
What are we promoting? What is the straw man that you think we're promoting? Like, Bobby and I don't even promote. Do we promote the same thing? Does Bobby and I do we have the same exact dietary message?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know.
What I'm publicly seeing you guys promote is anti-veganism, right? I think you both agree.
Oh,
that
definitely don't. I definitely don't recommend people malnourish their children on a vegan diet or themselves, right? Veganism is a starvation diet. It's a fasting starvation diet. So in fact, all of the data does show this: the decrease in fertility, the decrease in sperm count, right? The lack of fat soluble vitamins, the lack of vitamin B12, brain shrinkage, all these things. Like, yes, veganism is absolutely terrible for people, especially children. And I hold the position that giving a child a vegan diet is child abuse as well. I actually hold that. And I was told this when I went into a vegan diet back in 2009. My wife actually was babysitting for a vegan family. We were getting into veganism at the time, but we weren't sold on it ideologically. We weren't doing it for reasons of spiritual enlightenment or something like that. We thought it was healthy. We thought it was a healthy way to go. But from talking to some doctors, my wife actually talking to a doctor, she told, what was it? It was a gynecologist. Jessica was talking to a gynecologist about her job, which she was caretaking for a vegan child who was drinking soy formula. What else were they eating?
Like processed
Puffed rice and Cheerios. And she was a sweet little girl, really sweet little girl. But this gynecologist told my wife that she believes that a vegan diet for children is child abuse. And at the time, it was really interesting. I remember having a conversation with Jessica about this, how we thought that this could be true. Right? It made us think. It made us double think exactly what we were doing. And this was in 2009.
I 100% agree.
That it's child abuse.
Cheerios is child abuse. Yeah.
No, but it wasn't Cheerios. This was a Whole Foods. They would give her some puffed rice stuff, but they were also giving her quinoa and stuff like that. No animal foods at all. No eggs. No meat.
If we play the whole appeal to authority fallacy, I would like to join this and say that the German government, for example, does not say that vegan diets are suitable for children or pregnant women at all. So therefore, if we're talking about science, which one? My government, quote unquote, doesn't contribute to veganism at all. They say it is not suitable, right?
Yeah, but why pick the minority rather than the majority, right?
So
What
majority is
the
right.
World Health Organization?
You can just claim something as the majority. If you just claim something as the majority, and the majority believes this, that makes it true. That makes it right. So majority rule. That's one of the. That's an absolute fallacy.
I'm not saying that.
It's an absolute fallacy.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious that the science there is a lot of good science on 100% plant-based, smaller groups and that kind of stuff. But mostly, it's a plant-based a mostly plant-based diet that we have a lot of data for, right? But what I'm saying is that if you say that, the only thing that can cause inflammation, the only thing that can ruin your body are plants, why are there so many big health organizations, which may or may not be corrupt, but why is there so much science, independent studies being done that show positive results?
They're not. Show me one study that follows people on a full-on vegan diet, that gives people a controlled vegan diet for a long period of time. There's not a single study. There's not a single randomized controlled trial on veganism.
Yeah.
And the same goes for long-term supplementation as well. And veganism by
I
default
agree.
needs
I'm not a fan of supplementation.
So with that, we do not have enough science. How can we
I
rely
agree.
on that science?
I agree.
Okay. Good. Continue with the video.
Yeah. Let's check out the video game because I definitely see an apologetic tone. I definitely think you were apologizing. Oh, I had Vegan Gains video pulled up. We were talking about Vegan Gains he tried. Speaking of being apologetic, right? Vegan Gains, for whatever reason, I think it's very rude to release somebody's DMs, right? It's kind of a bitch move on Vegan Gains' part, right? But Richard in his video when he was like crying tears of hatred, he was leaking tears of hatred from his face talking about Jon Venus, and he released this. And you were messaging him, you're asking him, you said, "Hey man, how's it going? Man? Everything good?" And then about a month later, 2 or 3 weeks later, "Are you going to debate Bobby or what? He's getting too much attention." That's so what's going on with that? At the same time, you're messaging Bobby like, "What's up, Bobby? Hope all's good."
Yeah,
At the same time, you're telling Vegan
I've been
Gains,
waiting for that to
take
take
out
so
Bobby.
long,
You're
dude.
telling Vegan Gains, take him out. So what's up with the double face action on this one, man? What's going on there?
It's not double faced at all. I've been waiting. I bought the popcorn a year ago for this, and it hasn't happened yet. I think a lot of people are looking forward for this.
So Bobby's getting
I want
too
it to
much
happen.
attention.
But why am I getting too much attention?
Too much
Can you
attention.
clarify? Too much attention.
Oh, too much attention. That message was old, so I have no idea what I meant by that at that time. Maybe it was too much attention on your videos about Vegan Gains. I don't know. I wish I could recall what I meant exactly, but
Come on, it's not that cryptic. I'm sure you can recall, right? Just a sentence.
It's a straightforward sentence.
yeah,
Are you
I
going to
wish-
debate Bobby or what? He's getting too much
getting-
I
attention.
guess
Too
like
much
too much
attention.
attention, as in maybe too much attention. Like seriously, like you guys have been at each other for such a long time, and obviously I think everyone's given up on the idea that this is gonna ever happen. But yeah, like it's just something that I personally would like to do, because again, even though Vegan Gains is highly emotional, I think Richard has a lot of knowledge, a lot of analytical brain, and he thinks very different from most people, and I think that is very valuable in debates. So that is why I've always been interested in seeing that.
But you didn't
And it would be
answer
more
my question.
interesting than
Why is
Huh?
Bobby
You didn't
getting
answer
too
my
much
question.
attention? Why is Bobby getting too much attention was the question.
No.
Oh yeah, I mean, like obviously I'm 100% vegan and I believe in the vegan message. So obviously I don't enjoy when carnivore channels get attention, because I believe it's wrong.
Because meat is
And you're eating
inflammatory?
eggs.
Sorry?
And you're eating eggs.
Yeah, on the down low.
But all right, so you think it's wrong that carnivore channels are getting so much attention. You think it's wrong that Bobby's getting so much attention. You don't like the carnivore thing. You said to what's that mentally ill guy? Joey Carbstrong. You said on Joey Carbstrong's thing, he's the one with the eyes, right? Joey Carbstrong. You said on his channel that you want the carnivore thing to just go away. You want it to just all go away. But at the same time, you're struggling. Yeah, you said that to Joey Carbstrong. You want it to just go away. It should just disappear. But at the same time, you had this struggle internally where you were doubting veganism, right? You were doubting vegan.
Well, there's a... Go ahead. Yeah, I was just going to say I think there is a pretty massive difference between carnivory and, a 95, 99% plant-based diet, right? So, yeah.
Why is the carnivore diet bad? Why are the ethics of veganism better? I still don't understand it. I think if we want to move on from this, we have to understand why the vegan diet is so ethically superior. On what level?
I don't think the vegan diet is ethically superior on a objective level, but from a ideological point of view and as a goal to work towards, I think it can be.
Yeah, but by that default, it is not. So you just said it. So
Sure.
why does the carnivore diet has to disappear then? Why do you want it gone if the vegan diet is not better? I don't get it.
Well, it just comes down to the ethics. If it's unnecessary to kill animals, and you guys will obviously, argue against that because you think it's necessary to eat animals. So, that's what it comes down to is it necessary to take, a life and eat it? If it is necessary, absolutely. But if it's unnecessary, then why do it?
Yeah, that is not the question. The question is not killing one animal or not. The question is your diet more ethical, or is your diet indeed killing more than a carnivorous diet? And if so, how do you justify that? That is the question, bro.
Yeah, I mean, if the truth is that the carnivore diet kills less animals than a processed junk food vegan diet, which I'm sure is the case, because
even whole foods vegan
diet. Well, even if it's the whole foods, it still doesn't take away from the intention that the human has. And obviously we can't expect the whole world to go carnivore, and that's not possible.
But you expect the whole world, nobody's saying the whole world to go carnivore, but you want the whole world to go vegan, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely like to see that. Obviously, if it's the most healthy for humans, if it is possible to be optimally healthy and it's possible for everyone, then yeah, for sure.
So for Bobby, it wasn't possible to be optimally healthy. For myself, it wasn't possible.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
Come again?
I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
Fix my diet.
I'll coach you.
Yeah, sure. Maybe in 3 years after recovering from veganism, maybe then. I'll give it a try.
I'll do it.
$1 million.
So how do you determine? It's funny because you say, "Oh, vegans, we don't have to be dogmatic. We don't have to be so attached to our ideals." Yet when somebody makes a claim, when somebody tells you what they've experienced, you immediately discount it and say, "I don't believe it." How does that line up with your claim that you're just looking for the truth? You just want what's best for people. Are you going to discount every single person who's failed on a vegan diet, as you say? You're going to discount all of their experience and say that they did it wrong? Like yourself included. You failed at a vegan diet too, right? You couldn't even do it for 5 years. You had to leave veganism because mentally you couldn't reconcile with the situation. Psychologically, you caved and you tried eggs and you felt so bad you had to confess to YouTube about it. You couldn't even be vegan for 5 years. So it wasn't even practicable for you.
John, before you answer the question, just a quick interruption. If you say that the ex-vegans are in the wrong, right, that implies two things. Either everybody did it wrong, every single body did it wrong, or everybody is lying. So either you say we are all liars or all incompetent. So which one is it?
I mean, I believe, because I've been coaching people for so many years, I do believe that there is a way to do it for everyone. And it has to be tailored and personalized to your personal needs. Some people need a super high fat diet. Some people need a lower fat diet, and some people need a lot more protein than others. There is no one size fits all. And now I forgot what the question Tristan asked, but what was it?
The question was, well, you're talking about veganism, the definition of veganism, and what's practical, and what is the definition again? Do you want to go ahead and state the definition of veganism for us?
Yeah, sure. I believe I pulled it up here somewhere.
Yeah, I want to flesh this out because I don't really understand.
Yeah. No, a philosophy and a way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as is possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any purpose.
So whose interpretation of what's
by the vegan
practicable?
society?
Okay, so whose interpretation of what's practicable can we use?
Well, that is why I believe that, you know, it's up to each person. Like, obviously, like, you can't say, you know, it's only practical to eat 80% plants, but I'm still vegan because it's what's practical for me. You can't really, you know, say that, I guess, because, you know, obviously everyone knows that on a vegan diet you exclude all animals. But yeah, like,
I'm not too sure.
Hmm?
No, I just said I'm not too sure anymore, because I see many vegans reaching out to me now and telling me that as practicable as possible means as practicable as possible for you individually. So in your case, you need to eat eggs, for example, in order to feel better. And that applies to many others as well. And you would still be a vegan. If you look like autoimmune disorders, such as Michaela Peterson, she eats 1 steak per day. So she has a very, very minimal footprint, if you will. So that is as practicable as possible, which makes her the ultimate vegan.
Right, and me myself,
Well,
you know, I don't eat many
Yes.
plant foods. I eat maybe, I think right now, calorically, I might be like 20% plant foods the last week or so. So maybe 20% plant foods. Do you accept me as a trans vegan? Right, so I don't eat a full-on vegan diet, but what do you think about trans veganism? Because it sounds like you might be able to benefit from you know, going trans vegan as well.
Well, I didn't benefit from it, you know, from that tiny experiment. And I'm not going to say that, you know, I support your 20% plant-based, 80% carnivore, but I am going to say that it's probably much better than 100% carnivore for sure.
So you don't accept me as a trans vegan. You don't accept me.
Sure, if you want to coin that term, go for it.
It's not
I
a
accept you,
term that I coined. It's how I was born, John.
It's not a
I
choice.
accept you for who you are, man.
It's not a choice, dude. Okay, I'm glad that you accept me because I've had a lot of transphobes in the vegan community. There's a lot of them
Disgusting.
probably watching right now. A lot of these disgusting transphobes who've attacked me a lot over the years. You yourself, you keep calling me a carnivore. Just so you know, when you call me a carnivore, that's kind of dead naming. But we can move on. I mean, I'm not trying to virtue signal here or anything like that.
Yeah, no, and I had no idea you ate any, like, from what I knew, I thought you were on a 100% carnivore diet, but
No, I'm
yeah,
100% vegan. I'm
that.
vegan. I'm 100% vegan. Maybe last time we talked, I was drinking some milk, I think, in the last stream we did together. So it wasn't a
I think so.
only meat diet. So I was having dairy too, but yeah.
Liquid
Vegan
meat,
Gains up in the chat now.
as they say.
So anyways, yeah, so I don't know, but I would prefer to be called vegan rather than carnivore anyways.
All right.
So
well,
we got Vegan Gains
luck
up in the
with
chat,
that.
guys. We got Vegan Gains up in the chat. We got a bunch of people in the chat. If you guys got super chat questions, we can read them. Let me read a few super chats right now. I want to thank both the guests. Thank Leo for coming here for the cross examination. We've got the trial
John.
of. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry, John. All right, so let's see. Let me come up here. We got Luke Robinson says he has a hot girl brain in guy's body. Veg grifter. That's not a question. That's a couple pounds from Luke. Thanks for the couple pounds, Luke. Couple pounds from Psycho Magnet says, John, I think a steak experiment is in order. That one's directed at you, John. What do you think, man? Steak experiment?
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing a full day vegan carnivore experiment on YouTube very soon. So look out for that.
Full day vegan carnivore? How would that go?
What does that mean?
Well, you have to wait and see.
All
Okay.
mock meats for a whole day?
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Are
That's
mock
gonna
meats
fuck up your digestion, man.
are mock meats healthier than
Terrible.
real? Is mock meat healthier than real meat?
Yes, 100%. Because big corporations produce it for you, and it's ethically better, ethically more valuable.
All right, so we got Big Olive Oil says it's unethical to promote a diet that weakens people, and he's sending $4.99 in pounds. We got a bunch of Brits watching, thanks to the over there in the UK showing some love. It's unethical to promote a diet that weakens people. I mean, that is my position as well. I think a vegan diet does weak. Oh, there we go. We got some biceps, but are those vegan biceps now that you've had eggs? That's the question.
It was the 3 eggs that made it. Yeah.
3 eggs now. I thought it was 12. How many eggs was it?
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I think it was 3 or 4.
Was it a couple days? Was it eggs with one meal? How many meals was it?
Yeah, it was 2 or 3 days or something like that. Yeah.
And it was just, you added eggs to one meal. Was it just eggs, the meal, or how did it go?
Just eggs in the morning, and then I waited hours, and then I had my regular, schedule. Yeah.
You said you had to gag it. You were gagging when you're eating it. Do you think, what's that about? You gag
Yeah.
when you ate eggs?
By-
Did you
yeah.
throw up a little bit in your mouth or something?
I know, right? It must say something. Must say something.
Do you think, yeah, so you gagged on the eggs. That's so interesting. You should, I wish you had had a video of you eating those eggs. That would have been interesting to see. Like the first bite?
Yeah.
Why didn't you video the first bite?
Yeah.
Was it cooked? Was it boiled?
Yeah, I think that would be a little bit too sexual for YouTube, but maybe next time.
Sexual? Why?
Eating
Anyways,
eggs.
was it cooked? Was it boiled? Was it scrambled? What was it?
It was scrambled and soft boiled, whatever that, lightly boiled. Runny yolk, which was absolutely disgusting. Don't recommend anyone to do that experiment for sure.
I find it delicious. That's quite good to me.
I got a couple other super chats here. Yeah,
I mean,
actually,
like
I like eggs
after
too.
5 years of or 4 years or whatever, after 4 years of eating, 100%, plant-based, obviously you would expect, some side effects from introducing animal products back in.
Not really. I was vegan for 4 years and I had no side effects whatsoever. Quite the opposite. I mean, if you want to call it side effects, I just had improvement of digestion and better mood, better libido, better everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if that is the truth, then there is no doubt that.
But why would I lie? Why would I lie? Why would I make this up? How would that make sense?
I don't know. You said that
Because
I was
no,
lying.
because yeah, of course I was saying that you're lying. I mean, we already said it here, right? So first and foremost, I asked you if you were eating eggs. You said no. Those were my parents' eggs. Okay, cool. I
Yeah,
contacted
that's the
you on
truth.
WhatsApp, and that might be that this package was your parents' eggs. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Still, you already
That was
won,
like 5 months ago.
and you were already eating the eggs before that, right? And on
A
top
long
of
time
that,
before, yeah.
on top of that, let's be honest, man. As Tristan said, it's pretty double-faced, right? You act nice to me, and then what do? You chat with my arch enemy, my ex-girlfriend, Vegana, and say, I'm getting too much screen time, right? Too much attention. That's not nice either. So therefore, I have to point this out.
No,
right?
man. I mean, it's yeah. No, I mean, I
Now
have
you're calling me a
nothing but-
liar again. Now you're calling me a liar again. Now you say that
Why?
everything I say is a lie. Yeah, because I said I feel so much better, and you say, if we can believe it, why not? Why can't you believe it?
What I was gonna say is that if it is the truth, I didn't say it's not truth, but if it is the truth, then obviously when you
right?
added animal products, it was a better diet than for you specifically at that time than what you were eating before. Like, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So
well, good then.
That's it.
So So my
Jo-
statement is
Bobby, oh
accepted.
shit, I got
Thank
coffee
you.
right here. Thank you, Jessica.
That
I
doesn't
didn't
mean
real-
that another version of a plant-based diet could not work for you if it's personalized and targeted to your personal needs.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've been into bodybuilding by now 16 years, right? I do know one thing or the other about nutrition. I pretty much tried every single approach, no matter if it was a vegan keto diet, no matter if it was a high carb diet, a whole food plant-based diet, the daily dozen approach, even the raw shit and whatnot, right? I tried it all, macro focused,
Okay.
micro focused, everything logged on chronometer. On top of that, the supplementation. You cannot come up with a better vegan diet. It is impossible. I tried every single approach. If there's something that I left out, yeah, I
Nothing's
would be pretty
impossible, Bobby.
astonished.
Nothing's impossible.
Nothing is impossible but a vegan diet.
Sure. Well, I mean, like this is why I'm so, happy to talk to you guys, because I think the truth will reveal itself. Like there is no, I'm
does.
right, you're wrong. This is,
Yep.
let's see what happens out there. I mean, I know that I'm gonna, live to a very old age, hopefully, if like at least
That is great.
as long as I don't get,
So the
run
goal-
over by a bus or something.
That is great. Sorry,
the
Tristan,
goal
one
is to
second,
live.
please.
Yeah. Go for it, man.
Yeah, because you want to live as old as it gets, right? So Frey Ellis, the founder of the Vegan Society, lived to 59 years old, as far as I know. Is that correct? Yes, 59 years
Isn't it
old.
90 something?
Come again?
59.
No,
I thought it was
59
90,
years old.
90 something.
Frey Ellis, the Vegan Society, was grateful to add this membership of Dr. Frey Ellis, died, right? I have it right here. The same happened with Jay Dinshaw, who is the leader of the American Vegan Society, who died with 66. I can send you the whole list of all of those
What about all the
vegans,
keto?
and they all die in their 60s, man, their 50s.
What about all the
Among the
keto
vegans.
people who die in their 50s and 40s and 30s?
Who are those?
Who's that?
I don't know any names. I don't follow them, but I've seen
Nobody's
a lot
out
of
here
articles
saying that
about-
everybody needs to do a keto diet. No one's out here saying everybody needs to do carnivore. We're just pointing out the
Right.
inanity of the vegan movement, man. We're not saying you got to do things
Right.
exactly
I mean, my
like
point
us.
is that people die on any diet. So, like, why would
Yeah.
that be any different for vegans? Obviously, vegans are going to die too.
Yeah,
Vegans aren't immune to high cholesterol like a lot of people think. Obviously not.
No, but
And heart
high
attacks and-
cholesterol is associated with longevity. Low cholesterol is indicative of a short lifespan, and they've actually
Yeah.
found that they can pre-diagnose cancerous states 10 to 15 years ahead of time through low cholesterol. So low cholesterol is a huge risk factor for early mortality. Higher all-cause mortality from low cholesterol.
And I mean, so everything that is all the science that reverses certain, like diseases like cardiovascular disease actually
science?
reverses it. And even, the
What
trials
science?
that are coming out, there will be super specific studies made for, on a plant-based diet for people reversing certain cancers as well. This is going to happen. So
Are you predicting the future? We got Nostradamus over here predicting the future
I mean,
of vegan
there are
studies.
studies going on right now, so that I
Okay.
know of, So obviously, it is going to happen.
All right. So what science proves that a vegan diet reverses
Science
heart
doesn't
disease?
prove anything.
You just said it does.
No, it doesn't. But it gives you a strong suggestion, a strong point of direction to go towards.
And what science tells us we should?
But it doesn't
go on a
prove
vegan
anything,
diet?
right?
Which science tells us we should go on a vegan diet?
A bunch of it. Just go to
All
PubMed and search. Just type vegan on PubMed and then see if the conclusion or the findings are negative or positive. I'm pretty sure you're going to find way more positive than negative findings.
I mean, even if we amuse the idea, right, that this trial was really legitimate and they reversed heart disease with a plant-based diet, you could say the same about water fasting, fasting in general,
Yeah.
potato diets and whatnot, right? So we have all
100%.
kinds of little techniques there to reverse certain...
I'm saying if
Doesn't
you're
mean that
able
it's
to reverse heart
sustainable at
disease,
all.
how can it be so bad? Right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you say it is good to reverse heart disease, that is a strong point. However, if I say a water fast reverses heart disease, should we stay on a water fast then?
Well, obviously not, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying about the vegan diet. It is a short-term intervention.
But
fasting mimicking-
there is proof that if you go a certain amount of time without eating that you're going to die. There's no proof that if you go a certain amount without animal products that you're going to die.
Yeah, because we do not have long living vegetarians / vegans where
What is long living for you?
long living, I mean, we don't have a study where we can track vegans their whole life in a vacuum, basically, to see what will happen. So therefore, we just have to go by the dropout rates. 95%
Can I
of
ask you guys
vegans drop
a
out.
very important question?
Yeah, but
So
the 95% dropout rate doesn't play a role.
yeah, of course.
Right,
No,
so we can't know.
I mean,
So
what is
for
the dropout rate
95% of people,
that-
it seems like for 95% of people who try veganism, I think it was 84% within 3 years was the Psychology Today
In 3
article
years.
was citing a study.
Yes.
I think that's
And-
pretty good, man.
So 84% of people cannot maintain it, and for 84% of people who try veganism, it is not practical or what is the definition? Practicable
Possible.
or possible to stay on a vegan diet for 84% of them, right?
I think it's 84%. I think that's an amazing ratio. Like, I mean, just look at any other lifestyle change. Look at the gym. What is the dropout rate of people who start going to the gym and then drop out after 3 weeks? I mean, it's got to be way higher than that, right? So, I mean, like, obviously, just because people fail on a vegan diet doesn't mean that it's not possible or it's not, good for them. Maybe they, didn't find a way that works for them. Maybe they had peer pressure. Who the hell knows what the reason is? But you just can't say that just because of the high dropout rates, because everything that is a big change in your life will have a huge dropout rate in the public. So, that's it. But I wanted to ask you guys 2 questions. So, if it is unhealthy to be vegan, 100% vegan from birth, from pregnancy, whatever, are you saying that everyone who's born and raised vegan and who is well into their 20s and 30s and 40s, that they're not healthy or that they're fake or cheating?
Every long-term vegan I've met, every long-term vegan I met is incredibly unhealthy mentally and physically, and you can see it on vegan YouTube, right? You can even see it in the video that you made the other day. You were responding to the mentally ill vegans out there. You had to pussyfoot all around it. You had to bite your tongue. You had to apologize and do it with this meek little, this like sad mousy vibe the whole video, because vegans are so mentally and physically ill that you can't even have a normal conversation with them. So absolutely, every long-term vegan I've ever met is fucked up physically and mentally. And fortunately, every single child I knew that was raised veganism, their parents got hip to it when they started getting behavioral issues and developmental issues manifesting in their kids. They pulled them off of it and they fed them animal food. So thank God, all the kids that I knew like 8 years ago who were kind of vegan, those kids are not vegan anymore and they're kind of recovering. But we saw massive dental decay in many of them. We saw massive developmental issues, autism-like symptoms, right? And this is really alarming. So yeah, absolutely. I think it is ridiculous to feed children a vegan diet. And I think it's really sad that grown, Western, affluent people will willingly starve themselves and give themselves malnutrition with veganism. It's sad. I mean, look what happened to Bobby. Like, he's still recovering from it.
God damn it. Yeah, 100%. So I can only say that I agree with Tristan on that point 100%, and I don't want to repeat the same thing. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
the other half, I'm going to talk about the other half. There are chegans.
Yeah.
I mean,
let me just say, like, just because that was your experience doesn't mean that it's, I've never come across a single person who had that experience.
Have you been on YouTube?
To hearing
welcome to vegan YouTube, dude. Go look on YouTube. What happened to all the vegans last year? Most of the prominent vegans dropped off. You're one of the few left. It's a bigger pie for you
Not
now.
even.
It's cool.
Not even.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, all I can base my conclusions on is my own reality, and I've never come across, strong evidence suggesting, that this is unhealthy for anyone. So
I hope
obviously,
you don't. I hope it never manifests in your
kid.
kid.
Experience is that every single long-term vegan that you've come across is mentally ill and has rotten teeth, then
100%.
I don't blame you for.
Not all of them have
making the
rotten
conclusions
teeth.
that you're
Not all of them
making,
have.
but-
Not all of them have rotten teeth. But the mental illness
right,
thing.
or
It's,
side effects or whatever.
look at these people that are making videos about you. That's a good transition. Let's take a look at the responses to Jon because look, I have nothing against you, Jon. I'm not trying to be a jerk to you here. I'm trying to be as real as I can. I'm trying to give you my perspective. I'm trying not to bite my tongue. I'm not pussyfooting around it. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you coming on, having this conversation with us. And let's take a look at what the vegans were saying to you, because people might think that we're being a little hard on John. We're kind of holding his feet to the fire here. We're being honest, but these vegans are fucking going for blood, man.
I'm good.
These vegans are going nuts. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. Oops. All right, so we got vegan gains. First of all, look at his face. Is this the face of a happy, healthy person right here? Vegan gains.
So pretty.
He's got a beautiful face. He's got them Joey Carbstrong eyes going on there. All right, so
well, my beef with Jon Venus continues, but this time the beef comes along with a side of eggs. Now, to bring you all up to speed, about a year ago, Jon made a video claiming that he's leaving veganism, and I made a response video to this on my channel, and basically Jon was just lying.
No, I didn't.
He was trying to get attention by capitalizing off of this fad of vegans leaving veganism. I called him out.
what do you think about that claim? So these vegans, they think you're trying to capitalize off the fad of vegans leaving veganism, leaving their platform, leaving their source of income, right? All these vegans who come out as ex-vegans, they're losing most of their audience. Most of their audience is not going to give them money anymore. What do you think about what he just said there? Were you just cashing in? Were you trying to cash in on the carny cash?
Definitely not, man. Nope, no plan on cashing in. I mean, I get the arguments from both sides. Like, meat eaters say I'm vegan for the money, and then you also get the vegans who don't like me who say I'm also vegan for the money, right? So, like, obviously, if you look at the data and if you compare me to people who do similar things in an omnivorous way, and you see the the engagement, the audience sizes, the income levels, they're way higher. Like, obviously I'm not doing any of this for money. Obviously I want to get paid. I want to have enough wealth to support my family and sustain a family, but I'm not trying to take advantage of or make money out of misinformation or something.
When you said earlier that,
and I'm not even like yeah, I mean, you guys know that YouTube doesn't pay that much for views. I mean, like,
nada.
Me
YouTube
making a video that will get maximum 20,000 views is gonna give me like $20 or something.
Yeah, I think it's he knows too that you don't make shit off of YouTube for views these days. So I'm not sure what he's getting at there.
Sure.
But you did say earlier. Let me just see if I can hold your feet to the fire a little bit more here, John. You said earlier you don't like labels, but you use the vegan label for marketing, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I do identify as a vegan because of what the term vegan means, because it's an ethical choice for me. It's about compassion and empathy, but I don't think it's a useful thing to use labels all the time. Yeah.
Useful for what? For marketing?
No, it's not useful to use the vegan label. For marketing, it's actually, it goes both ways, right? It's useful for getting people to, find you online, but it's also a way to keep people away. So I don't know if it's such a good marketing move after all, to be honest. But yeah, I'm just saying that labels in general, don't really reflect what a person is about. It's nothing to do with the person. It's to do with a certain aspect of a person's decisions in life or their philosophy or whatever, but it doesn't say anything about the person and the human being at all.
Someone asked, do you like
Why not
vegan
choose
gains?
the plant-based label?
Well, I would, but and I actually am now, because the Game Changers has got the plant-based term on Google ad. What's it called again? I don't know. But
The trends.
Exactly, it's increased a lot. So I do use plant-based more now, but it's whatever will get people to find my content, because I think that what I'm doing will help people. So I'll use whatever label or term on my videos and Google that will help me the most. But I identify with empathy and kindness and compassion towards beings, and that is why I identify as a vegan as well. But that doesn't mean I identify with other vegans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Necessarily.
not compassionate for rodents, deer, kangaroo, wallaby, insects, birds, right?
Everything, man, and especially human beings. Most of all, first and foremost.
So what if human
Yeah, but
beings, and if human beings for their well-being need to eat meat, For them to be healthy, for them to be happy, for them to be psychologically and physically stable. If they need to eat meat, is that okay?
Of course, if it's proven and it is the truth that you need to eat meat to stay healthy, like
How do you determine what is
yeah.
true? How do you determine what is proven and what is true?
I wish I had the answer, man.
So if it's proven true, but you don't know how it could be proven true.
This is what we're all trying to, I think with everything that we're all, doing on social media and all these different opposing views, hopefully, at the end of it, there will be some sort of, we'll get a little bit closer to the truth.
If we don't know how to determine what is true, how are we going to determine what is true? You said we don't. You said you don't know how to determine what's true, but we need to do it. That just sounds like an endless search.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot, truth is, what is truth? I have no idea what truth means, right? Like truth seems like a very objective thing, right? Unless you are a hardcore believer in physics or whatever kind of science, and you use that as a form of religion to say that you know the truth, but I don't think that there is a truth at all. So that's my opinion.
So it's not true that veganism is good then, because there is no truth.
If you want to put it that way, sure. But you can say that veganism is good.
That's cool. All right. I mean, at least you're consistent with it. If there's no truth, then how can veganism be true? If something, how do we determine if something is morally, because you mentioned the ethical aspect. This always interests me, and I've never gotten a good answer from a vegan on this. How do we determine if something is morally and ethically right and wrong if there is no objective truth?
I think right and wrong is also subjective to an extent. Okay. I do think that right and wrong should be based on how, this is really challenging, because obviously if you're a psychopath, you can feel that something is right that is obviously wrong, right? So, but if the collective consciousness of people have a positive feeling, an expansive feeling rather than a negative feeling towards a certain action, then I'd say that the feeling of, love or compassion or whatever is, more right than wrong, right? Does that make sense?
But now we're in the realm of moral relativism, right? And if there is a group, a majority that pushes one certain narrative and converts enough people for their quote unquote truth, we have a newborn belief system, which in that group will be identified as truth, which does not make it true. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make it true. Yeah. No, that's 100% right.
Okay.
But there is no right.
How can it be? To own the truth here.
That's 100% true, Bobby, but there is no truth. All right, so I got more super chats. I would definitely disagree. I think that this is why veganism is so easily refuted when they're coming from the ethical standpoint, if you're a moral relativist, right? And this is why guys like Joey Carbstrong, James Aspe, and Edward Gaunt, Edward Winters, Earthling Ed, whatever he calls himself today, the actor guy from the UK. This is why they're able to fool so many people, is because in the West we've had belief in truth replaced with moral relativism and this basically nihilistic worldview that allows veganism to justify itself in such a kind of weird schizophrenic way. But we don't
Disney worldview.
I don't consider any of these activists to be masterminds of manipulation or anything like that. It's not like they're convincing people with the words that they're saying to go vegan. I mean, it's pretty common sense what they're saying, right? So people are making up their own minds.
What is common sense?
No, not really. They're confronting them. They're confronting them with slaughterhouse porn. This is pretty much what they do, and they have a certain narrative that they frame, right? They show you slaughterhouse footage from the third world countries or whatnot, and then they have this framed discussion, right? Which turns out always the same.
Name the trait. Do it now.
It's always the same shit, right? Where do we end up there? Of course it's framed. Of course it's highly manipulative.
Right. And very emotionally charged language. Oh, don't you think it's bad to kill a baby? Don't you think it's bad to kill a little baby? A hen is a person. A hen is a person. You're taking her babies. So, I got a question concerning the ethical and moral stuff. Concerning the ethical and moral and the and immoral position of veganism. When you ate those eggs, you said that at first you didn't think it was wrong in the video. later in the video, you said that you thought it was wrong. Do you think eating eggs is morally, a bad thing, or something that is wrong inherently?
Actually, like, it really depends on the situation, right? So if I do know people who have their own chickens as, pets or companions or lovers or whatever you want to call it.
Food source, not lovers. I have chickens for food.
Lovers.
Not lovers.
Chicken is lovers. That's a new one, man.
Maybe in some parts of the world.
That's hardcore veganism, bro.
Maybe way up deep in the hills somewhere, there might be some chicken loving.
Yeah,
That
but my
chicken
point
love.
is, like, I don't. There is obviously a way to, eat eggs that are your own, and without stealing them, whatever. Like, yeah, for sure. But how many people are doing that? Not that many that I know personally, but I do know a few people, like in Norway, for example, in small villages. Yeah, I mean, I don't see, like, obviously, like for me, because I'm vegan, it makes sense that if I don't need it, why take it anyway? But if someone believes that they absolutely need it, I don't see an ethical issue with that one. The scenario. Now, a lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, backyard eggs are horrible" and that kind of stuff. Sure, some backyard eggs could be, the hens or whatever, or the chickens could be treated miserably, but in another place it could be a very nice and more of a positive thing. And who knows, man? Like farm sanctuaries, for example, they take in chickens, right, and they lay eggs, and and they're not gonna, all these eggs are not gonna hatch. It's hen period. So what are you gonna do? Like, obviously you can feed it back to the chickens, which a lot of these farm sanctuaries do.
Yeah.
But obviously, if it's gonna go to waste anyway, and the chicken is not gonna eat it, then obviously I don't see an ethical issue with eating it.
Yeah, and aside from that, a family that has a couple of chickens and can feed themselves rather than buying imported shit will always be a net positive under any circumstance.
This is why I think the vegan thing, it's so misleading, and the arguments that are going on are so nonsensical.
Look, I also agree
listen.
the
If you
way
want to actually improve the environmental situation, you would be focusing on locally produced foods, right? Foods that people can produce in their own backyard, foods that actually amend the soil.
Yeah.
So I mean, having ruminant animals around, you can regenerate soil with ruminant animals. You can regenerate soil using chickens and rotational grazing. You bring in the cows graze the pasture. A few days later, you bring in the hens and chickens.
Why would you force someone to do that if they don't want to?
Nobody's trying to force it.
They
You're
don't want
trying
to
to
eat
force
animals.
No, you guys are trying to force us
Sorry?
to stop. What I'm getting at, John, is the vegan movement
Yeah.
wants to stop people from doing this. They say that this is unethical, this is exploitation, this is slavery, and they want to force us to stop doing this. And as in what? Huh?
Yeah, this is unethical. What are you talking about exactly right
Keeping
now?
animals, eating animals is
grazing methods.
unethical, right? Joey Carbstrong, all your friends, the vegan activists, say that this is bad, this is terrible for the environment, and that this is immoral and unethical. We need to abolish it. These are abolitionists. Joey Carbstrong, who you went on his podcast, he's a vegan abolitionist who wants to tell me that I'm a murderer for eating eggs, and he would tell you that you're a murderer for eating eggs as well. These people literally want to give personhood to
I don't think
chickens.
so.
You don't think so, but you can go to his channel right now and you could watch anything he said. He is an abolitionist. He says meat is murder, eggs are murder, milk is murder.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you?
You know,
so, do you think you should be tried for murder publicly? Should
Yeah.
you be tried for murder
Look,
of those 12 chickens?
yeah, I mean, the whole point of veganism, in my view, is the intention behind doing as little harm as possible to other beings, right? So, obviously, the way that we're getting our food is far from perfect. There is a lot of bykill, a lot of animals are being killed. It's super inefficient, and there's obviously a ton of improvement to be made. But it's about it's about the heart behind it, right? It's about the intention of the people. It doesn't mean that they're actually, doing what they believe that they're doing, but it's the intention that counts, and they want to do good. There are people that want to do good, and a lot of people want to feel superior as vegans and want to shit on everyone else for not doing what they do. But those are not the people I surround myself with, and it's definitely not the majority. It's the very minority. Maybe they're the loudest, but it's just not the reality of.
So
if your
if your intention is good, but you kill a human being with good intention, right? This human being was
Right.
going to kill 100 cows, right? And you see this argument in the vegan comments a lot, that killing a carnist is a good thing for the animals because that carnist was going to go kill 1,000 persons, which are hens. They consider hens persons. They consider cows persons. So I'm just in the vegan argument.
I mean that's mental illness. It's not veganism.
Okay, so are cows people?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
And
why does the intention count so much? Why is it so important?
I mean,
the intention. Why?
Why it's so important?
Why is the intention so important? Why does that make it morally superior? Just because the intention is good, but the facts speak against it. You're killing more animals, but the intention is good.
So my intention's good, but I robbed a bank.
Right.
I robbed a bank with good intentions. Is that okay?
I mean,
exactly.
I was going to give it away to charity, to an animal rescue.
So it's first of all, like, I don't see it as a fact that, you know, vegans kill more animals. But again, 99.9% of the people are omnivorous, right? They're not carnivore, not vegan. So I guess if you're comparing a vegan diet to a purely 100% carnivore, then I probably would believe for sure that vegans kill a lot more animals. I'm not saying that I know that is true, but I'm saying I'm open to that being the case.
Yeah.
But the intention is important because, like, you know, how else are you going to make, you know, decisions that will benefit you and your community and everyone else?
Yeah,
you have
but
to set an
based on
intention
information and
take
knowledge
action
as
on the
well.
intention, right?
Yeah, but based on
Right.
information and knowledge as well, right? So once you're
Yeah, of course.
presented with that evidence of crop deaths in this case, of monoculture environmental destruction, how can you close your eyes? How can you act blind and say, well, it's all about the intention? The intention counts.
No, I
A good
don't.
person.
I've never promoted closing your eyes. I think every single issue is super important, and I don't think vegans are morally superior to. I mean, so like this superiority, inferiority thing, it just drives me nuts. But I don't think being vegan automatically makes you a better person. I don't know personally, but I can see online that there are plenty of you know, horrible human beings who are vegan as well.
For sure.
But the intention, like, you know, of doing good is there. And if the intention is not backed up by action, which means studying about crop death, studying about, you know, monocrops and these things, if you're just, you know, picking veganism and ignoring everything else, I don't see that as a very good thing either. But you know, that's up to everyone to decide.
What I'm saying is that basing it on intention is very, very dangerous. Let's assume I have a little boy, right? A little son.
Yeah, I get
as
what
a
you mean.
girl, right? Oh, I have the best intentions. Maybe I will amuse his idea. How is that good? Just because the intention is good. It can lead down a very dangerous path. This is what I'm saying. So just because the intention is good, I watch Disney, the intention is good. I don't want to kill animals. Not good.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. But I know that most people that I personally have come across in my life, that I know, like in real life, not, you know, looking online on YouTube videos and comments and that kind of stuff, real life people, they're all like super open to learning about everything that goes on in the environment, other social issues that go on, you know, politics. People are open-minded and they want to help in any way that they can. People are just trying to help. Why would you criticize people for trying to help?
Because people were just trying to help. People were just trying to help create an equal world in the Bolshevik Revolution, right? The Maoist Revolution. This was based on good intention, right? More than 30 million people were killed, right? The Holodomor. This was done with good intention, right? The liberty, fraternity, equality, the French Revolution, bloodbath, guillotine, bloodbaths. This was done for good intention, right? They're trying to save the planet. They're trying to make everyone equal. So I guess, should we exonerate Mao and Stalin and Lenin for these genocides?
Well, that's why I keep reference. I've only referenced it once, but I keep saying that, you know, obviously your attention, you know, it has to be backed up by, you know, it has to be a collective. You can't be the only one who thinks something is right, right?
Right. No. Like, everyone. The Bolshevik Revolution. It was a collective movement, much like Nazism.
I'm not educated on that topic, but yeah.
You don't have to be educated.
You don't have to be.
What he says is, if you take the Nazis, for example, it was a collective of people that thought they do the right thing. They had the good intentions, right?
Sure. Yeah. No, the good intentions doesn't necessarily make it right.
No.
Yeah,
the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
no, I mean, that's not what I was trying to say, but I get your point.
cool. Let's hit some super chats. I think we fleshed that one out a little bit. Got some more super chats here.
Yeah,
Alley
I gotta
Cat
go in
sends,
like 10, 15 minutes. So yeah.
right on, man. Right on. Alley Cat sends $9.99. Didn't say anything. Acularis says opinion on pork on a carny diet. Look, do what works for you. I mean, as far as pork goes, I don't eat that much pork because it's low quality here, but we're going to raise our own pigs in the next couple years, and I'll eat that. So, yeah, if it works for you, if it's good quality food, do what works. Bobby, you got any perspective on that one? Pork?
I personally stay away from it, but that is personal because when I was 15 years old, I was eating ham and that made me puke a couple of times. So just stay away from pork. I eat beef predominantly.
I also stay away from it.
I think the asker of that question knew that John wasn't into the pork or the carny diet. John thinks the carnivore is. I think he said it was stupid earlier or something like that. The Coon 8 says, "Good evening, all you. Nice chat roulette tonight. Do you know how long it takes to get rid of sugar cravings? They are setting me back all the time. Sugar cravings. Bobby, what do you got to say about them sugar cravings?
Can take quite some time, and I say 2 weeks is a safe bet. Sometimes up to 3 weeks in certain individuals. That's around about how long it can take. I say the 3 first days are horrible. After that, it becomes a bit easier, but 2 weeks for sure, I say, until the switch comes.
Yeah. Some people, it's like 3 days, and look, if you got 100 pounds to lose and you're going keto, usually in like 3 or 4 days, people are back on they're feeling really good. Their cravings are gone. They're feeling satiated. If you're pretty lean, you might even want to reconsider doing keto, right? It depends on your context, right? Carbohydrates are a tool. They're not the devil. Use carbohydrates according to your goals, according to your situation and your tolerance. So if you are a high-intensity athlete, you might want some carbs. If you're a weekend warrior, you lift a couple times a week, you probably don't need any, and you might feel better without them. Who knows? Who knows? So let me just go. I'll just ask the relevant ones. Judas Romo, $5. Thanks for the $5. Says, John, do you like vegan gains?
Do I like vegan gains?
Do you like vegan gains? Probably the person, not the gains.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I've only met him once, and that one time I met him, it was a very good experience. But I don't think I don't think he likes me very much. And I obviously can't like someone who hates me. So I'm very neutral about it. Like I'm always gonna be up to Richard, give me a call. We can talk this out. Can figure out what's going on in your life. Maybe I can help. But yeah, I don't hate him or dislike him or anything like that. I would like to help him for sure.
Right on.
Help him with what?
With whatever he needs.
Okay.
I'll play a clip of Richard. I'm not sure if you saw the end of Richard's video. Here's Richard, and I guess maybe we could say that this would probably be a likely response to you. I doubt he would talk to you in real life like this, but here's Richard's internet response.
And this was somehow surprising to you. You ate something that is literal crap for you. It is devoid of nutrition. It only made you gag, and you didn't feel any better after eating it. What a surprise.
Oh, hey, Jon Venus. I watch your channel, but I wanted to tell you something. I was vegan for a while, but then I didn't feel so good. I just felt sick. So then I tried eating poop, and then as soon as I started eating poop, I felt way better. You should try eating poop. Oh wow, you felt better after eating poop? Maybe there's some kind of nutrients in poop that you can't get from fruits and vegetables. I'll try eating poop right now and see how I feel.
Because you guys, we all know that eggs and poop, they're kind of the same, right?
Pretty much.
I'm trying to get to the part where
Kids are so bad.
I'm not sure what's more cringe, his real voice or his sixth grade character voices that he does here. But this is what he says about if he sees you, if you guys see each other.
And the only other thing that I wanted to address here was that for some reason, Jon Venus keeps messaging me on Facebook, even though I thought I already made it clear that I don't like you, John. I'm not even responding to any of his messages, but he keeps messaging me for some reason. And his last message was actually about this egg video. He was trying to get me to not make a response. Well, John, I already have to deal with enough morons online as it is. I don't want to have to put up with your lies and so don't message me, don't talk to me. If you ever see me at a vegan event or something, just don't bother even looking in my direction, thank you. And if you like this video, maybe consider supporting me on Patreon.
Give me the Patreons.
Yeah.
Damn, he went hard, man. He's pissed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, again, my offer is even stronger now. If you need any help, man, call me.
All right. Let's see. We got one more super chat here. Where does John get his EAA from? Them essential amino acids. And then he says, hashtag raping chickens. Schnauzer Souza. Yeah, where do you get the EAA from, John? Essential amino acids.
I mean, from protein, from all kinds of foods, right? So for me personally, my staples for protein or EAAs, amino acids, essential amino acids, are tempeh is my favorite because it's super high in protein, 22 grams per 100 grams. I would say beans, lentils, chickpeas, edamame, tofu, mushrooms, even things like that add up. Oatmeal, grains, quinoa, these things all have all the essential amino acids. So yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of phytoestrogens as well, so that is not good. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It is still about estrogen disruption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see.
What about the Vivo Life? How much of your protein comes from protein powder? Is that daily that you have the Vivo Life stuff? I know
If I drink it every day, I train. So when I was injured, I went obviously I only drink protein powder when I train. So after my workout, I'll have 25 grams of powder, which is 20 grams of protein. Yeah, more or less.
All right. Let's see. The anti-vegan
Sometimes
says,
if I don't have time to cook, like a big meal, I'll have 2 scoops, but that's not very often. But yeah, nothing different from any other omnivorous bodybuilder out there.
all right. So the anti-vegan sends $5. Thanks, the anti-vegan. She's got a good channel. She actually used to be a vegan as well.
That must be a good question.
What's that? You broke up there, John.
Still here? Hello?
She
What was
says,
the question?
Jon Venus, do you believe ethics are more important than human health?
Do I believe ethics is more important than human health? Absolutely not. I mean, we've already talked about this, right? So if it's 100% true that you need animal products to be healthy, then it's not unethical to eat animal products. But obviously, my belief is that you don't.
Okay. Nice. All right. Well, we didn't even get. There's no more super chats. That's all. We didn't even get to. There were some other. Yeah, I don't know if you saw. There's this guy Corey McCarthy that made a video about you too. We didn't get to that one. There are a few other response videos that I have pulled up.
Yeah, I saw that one. I didn't see the whole thing, but I went in there and left a comment. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think we covered it all, man. We were trying to keep it to an hour and a half. I might stick on and talk to the audience a little bit more, but John, I want to respect your time, man. I know you wanted to leave, or you got stuff to do. You probably got dinner coming up, so you gonna have eggs, or what do you have for dinner? Steak?
Yeah, vegan steak today, man.
All right.
No,
Well,
I actually missed dinner for this, but I'm probably gonna have dinner and go to the gym, as I didn't get to the gym yet, so that's what's on the plan for today. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. I do think that again, like I don't see why vegans and people with different opposing views can't talk to each other, even though we disagree, and it might get a little bit heated or whatever. It's still worth it because I think conversations are necessary for any kind of progress. So yeah, thanks for the chat, guys.
Cool, man. Good work, Jeb.
all right. Where can people find your stuff, John?
I think people get it and just search my name wherever, and you'll find me on YouTube. And my main focus right now is Instagram, but I have like 50 videos lined up for YouTube as well. So I'm stepping my game up there too. So YouTube and Instagram.
All right. Jon Venus, it's been nice, man. I'll let you go. I don't know, Bobby, if you want to stick around a little bit, we can talk to the chat. We might have a couple more super chats here. But John,
Yeah,
it's
for
been
10
nice,
more
man.
minutes or so.
All right, let me pull. I
See you,
gotta
John.
change the.
He's out.
Well. He's out. John's gone now. Let's just
Yeah,
move this
that
over
went
here.
well, reasonably well.
Yeah, John's a champ for coming on. Gotta give him credit
For sure, for sure. It's definitely not easy to be the only one in Camp Vegan against two bald guys here. I think he
Bald men
did a good
bad.
job.
Yeah.
However, I didn't really understand it to the very end. I really tried to understand his standpoint. I couldn't.
Yeah.
No matter how he tried to explain it, I couldn't understand it. It didn't
Seems
add
like
up.
a lot of these vegans, they have such wishy-washy views when they talk to other people, but it's such a staunch position when it's just the vegans in the echo chamber. But then in real life, they're having to try to reconcile with the reality of what's really happening. And it seems like they kind of waffle a bit. I don't know. I don't know how much John really believes in veganism. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to gauge.
It doesn't sound very convincing. I mean, if you look at his brother, Leo Venus, he was doing all kinds of videos against myself, against the carnivores. Then he comes onto your show, is very wishy-washy, says as well, it is super cool that we can talk to each other, so nice. And then the next thing he does, a couple of hours later, he posts another video about Dr. Sean Baker, go vegan, right? Why Dr. Sean Baker is wrong or whatnot. So attacking him again from the back, basically. Very Weasley moves there.
Well, with Leo, the reason I reached out to Leo and Sean, I thought it would be interesting to see them have a conversation. I was trying to, get some more debates going, get some more dialogue going, like we just had here with John. And I thought it'd be cool to have Leo and Sean talk it out, because Leo made a video about Sean, called him the dinosaur doctor or something, and basically said exactly what he said in the debate with Sean. All the science says that you should go vegan. All of the science, of course, he didn't really concisely and clearly give us a reason why the science says this or what science actually says it. And I found that there was a similar argument from John, right? He said the science is all there. The science proves it. And
yes.
Yeah.
But isn't that always the case? Because when I was in the vegan community still, what happens is you don't look outside of that camp, right? You do not look into any other science than the so-called vegan science. And in that little bubble, yes, it makes sense. The science says it. Dr. Greger says it. They don't see anything else. But then when it comes down to a debate, all they can do is repeat it. But the science says it. Yeah, but which one? Which one? Where did we see long-living vegans? They've been observed all the time. That does not happen. There he is.
The hierarchy of evidence right there. That's the top of the hierarchy of evidence. That is... I mean, that's peak human. That's peak human performance. You guys might not know. You guys might not be able to tell because all you carnies are all clogged up in your cholesterol-addled brains. But that is peak vegan performance right there.
Yeah, you're carrying way too much toxic muscle as it is, Tristan.
Detox
it, please.
I know, right? I got to detox some of that away. The purity, right? Well, I thought there was an interesting argument from John as well. He said, well, yeah, it just shows you I was eating such a pure, clean diet. And as soon as I had eggs, and it's just funny because it sounds to me like somebody who, I don't know, like you're about to do something that makes you real nervous and you get sick. Like people, when they're about to go into battle, people are shitting themselves and puking all over the place. Like if you're about to go into hand-to-hand combat, you're going to be you're going to have a very hard time physically. You're going to be puking, you're going to be shitting. And it's funny, I imagine I'm seeing John eating the egg and it's like, it's like some dude who's about to get slain in battle, about to get thrown in the Colosseum with some lions or something, and he's just so nervous and, and he eats the egg and immediately gags because he's just so emotionally reflexive to it. And he's just to me I wish there was a video. I told him, man, John, next time you eat some animal foods, please just get it on video. Let's get a reaction video to your bite of steak when you decide to prove it wrong again, right?
Yeah. I liked your point there when you said that it could have been the nervousness and all of that stress that led to digestive issues. Of course it can be, man. Right. Especially if you mix it with all those plants. How can you account for it? It's impossible to say.
Well, he's so he's so afraid, right? So first of all, you're afraid that people are going to find out, right? It seems like there's been a year of him feeling guilty about this and trying to reconcile with it. And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on in Jon Venus's head all the time, of course, but we can only take our own interactions with him into account. And the timeline's funny, man. He talks to us behind the scenes. He seems interested in some of the ideas. He's waffling back and forth. I don't know. It seems like just classic vegan wishy-washiness, right? Like you're starving. You're starving, so you can't you feel that starvation. You want the animal foods. You're hearing these arguments all the time, but then they're constantly trying to discredit the arguments, to stamp it out and say bald man bad. That's not science. My science says good. The doctors say that this is right. The World Health Organization says that this is safe. But they're always in the back of their head. They're thinking, is this correct? Can I eat some eggs? I wish I could eat some eggs. And dude, if Jon wasn't online being a vegan like influencer, there's no doubt in my mind he would have eaten animal foods a long time ago. He wouldn't be dealing with all this
100%.
mental turmoil. He wouldn't be trying to put on a nice facade for all these mentally ill vegans online. And he'd probably be a lot healthier in general. But I mean, I hope he eventually looks back on these conversations that he had with us and kind of sees it in a different light. We'll see what happens.
I believe he will. I mean, if he wouldn't be on YouTube, I agree. He probably would be full-blown carnivore already. The point is that if your diet is so nourishing and it feeds you so well, you feel so happy, you wouldn't even research any further. You just know it, right? When you ate a good meal, you know you had a good meal. If you ate a meal that makes you fart, your digestion is fucked, then you will research and look for alternatives. He is not secure in his choices. This is why he did that experiment. What we didn't really pinpoint is the 1 year mark. I don't even believe that, to be totally honest. Because he talked to me, as I said, around about April, I believe. And let's say he ate the egg before that, right? A week or two. So that's like over half a year ago. The whole thing is back and forth. Was it 12 eggs? Was it 3 eggs? 10 days? 3 days? Who knows, right? I don't buy it, man. I just don't buy it. What should I say?
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to get to that. Like, I don't know. If we can believe these ex-vegans accounts, Jon says. So he says that he can't believe other people's accounts of how they say they feel. He can't believe other people's accounts of their personal experience. Do you think he might be projecting because he doesn't believe his own? That becomes a question,
That is very deep. That's already a philosophical question. And who knows if Jon goes so deep, right? I saw a lot of projection, and what I do see is a lot of make-believe. I'm going to repeat it until I believe it. I'm going to repeat it until my viewers may believe it. And then we're going to repeat it together. And then we're going to say it again, and we're going to sing it out loud.
Veganism is safe for people of all
ages.
ages at all stages of development. Veganism is safe and healthy for people of all ages at all stages of development. I must exclude animal products as practically as possible. Yeah, but you said earlier, we were having a conversation via WhatsApp, and I mean, you and I are always looking at this from, like, you and I both are on the same page with this, and it's funny because we both see it as a religion, and you mentioned the word mantra, right? They use mantra. They use mantra to get themselves hyped up, to get themselves in the mood, and the veganism is, by all definitions, a religion that has rites. They have their own blasphemous version of confession, where you come up in front of the camera and you tell all the mentally ill vegans on YouTube that you're so sorry that you ate some eggs, and please forgive me, please forgive me. So it's
this is why I asked about his audience, what he truly believes of his audience. What does he think of his audience? And as he said, they're on the same level, 70%. If that is correct, you wouldn't act the way you do. There would be no need for it, man. With your real friends, you would never have to be apologetic. You will never have to come up with such bullshit. And let's face it, everything that we see on vegan YouTube is very reactive, right? Jon does one video, he apologizes, then he gets the hate. The next video comes out today against the haters. Here, this one against the haters, right? So you see it is very, very reactive. It is like a leaf in the wind, back and forth, back and forth. If my audience says this, now I have to cater to them like this. If they say something else, I have to do a 180 yet again. Why? He says in his video, I'm trying to be myself. Why are you not yourself? Why do you have to try? What is there to try? Why don't you just talk to your audience like normal people? You can't, because they're not normal. They're all insane. They're all mentally ill. That's it.
What is even normal these days, man? It's like, I mean, Jessica was in this funny email exchange with somebody, just like business stuff, and it was, in the end of it, she says something like, man, I can't believe people are this thick and are this, it's like they're living in this gel sludge, and everything, all their thoughts and actions move so slowly. And she's just like, what the fuck is wrong with some of these people? And it's just, it seems like much of the world right now, it's like all this propaganda that's constantly bombarding us, making us feel guilty for being human, making us feel afraid that the climate's changing and it's all your fault. The world is dying and it's all your fault. You have to go vegan. If we can just do exactly what the big banks and corporations tell us, the world can be saved. It's like there's this inherent guilt and shame and just this really misled moral crisis that the West seems to be dealing with that makes people behave in like a schizophrenic way, you know, saying stuff like there is no truth, I have no idea what the truth is, but then making truth claims constantly about the moral efficacy of a vegan diet, right? I don't believe there's truth, and I believe morality is subjective, but everybody needs to go vegan as much as practicable and possible because that's ethical. What the hell?
Let's give John some credit. At least he followed up with his logic, and he said ultimately that he doesn't know, right? Because that was his basis. He does not know, and therefore he does not know if veganism is the truth. However, he implied that if we follow up with the science, at some point we will find out the truth. And then he relativized that statement as well by saying, yeah, science is not proof. So what is then? Why should we listen to you? It doesn't make sense. One interruption here, guys. We have 622 people watching. We just have 218 likes. So leave this stream a thumbs up to support this. Come on, man. 218 likes. That is nothing. Please,
you guys
bring it
gotta
up.
support.
Helps with the algorithm.
We got a big purge coming on YouTube. Hopefully this channel doesn't get taken down, but we've set up our membership section of the website. You guys, if you guys want to become members at primaledgehealth.com/members, you can become a member of the private forum. We're going to do at least bi-monthly live Q&As, coaching calls. You get discounts on our special stuff. You get not free, but you get exclusive content as well. So you can sign up at primaledgehealth.com for that if you're interested. That's a good way of going about it for if you want to support the channel, right? Because we do make pennies off of YouTube, and there is a very good chance that a lot of channels might get taken down. Hopefully we stay, man. We don't break any terms of services, but they're going to remove channels that are so-called not commercially viable. I don't know what that means. It's basically a black box where they can wash out any channels they want. Hopefully we don't get touched.
Anything.
You know, I've actually found that using certain tags will get you demonetized, but if you avoid certain tags, certain words and subjects, you won't get demonetized, right? In this behaviorist control grid called YouTube. So, yeah, you guys want to support the channel, sign up for that, and freaking hit the like, you bigots. Hit the like or you hate the children and the planet. Now.
They do. Almost 300 now.
There you go.
They're learning, slowly but surely.
You guys, it is morally, you are morally required, as far as as much as practicably possible, to click the like and share this shit.
It is the right thing to do. It is definitely the right thing to do, even though there is no right and wrong. Please hit the like button.
There is no morality, and it's all subjective, but you guys must all accept veganism. And it seems that's always the argument. I mean, vegan gains, ask yourself, cosmic skeptic, all of these people who are being propped up as the great debaters of veganism, they all come from the starting point of believing that morality doesn't exist, that truth is not universal, yet they want to play this game and act like the presuppositions that they hold are valid. So it's crazy. We got a super chat here from Natalia Nedelko. Says Tristan and Bobby, thank you. You helped me and my family from Russia with love. Thank you, Natalia.
Spasiba.
There we go. We got Virtue Over Vices.
Thank you in Russian.
There you go. $2. Virtue Over Vices says, I have no idea what truth is. J Venus 2019. The Van Joy says, I wish you both health and happiness. Thank you, the Van Joy. We wish you health and happiness as well. Man, there's so many of these videos that people made about Jon Venus.
Cosmic skeptic, you said, man. This guy catapulted himself into veganism after being a vegan for half a year or so, and now he's up and about debating everybody about veganism. Made his new life mission. Hysterical. Weird. And just really fits into his narrative, right? It's always the same. The atheist, right? Weird. More relativist, and now vegan. Perfect. So predictable.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool to do a stream where we look at some of these vegan arguments and just kind of comment on some of these vegan debates. I'm trying to. I've got to adjust. But oops, where'd Bobby's video go? I got to adjust the size of your window here. But I've got pulled up. We've got 1 hour ago. Michelle Lowe made a video. Jon Venus even put out a video today, 2 hours ago. Look at all these videos responding. These people are mad at Jon. Lots of them. Carnival even made a video. A lot of the vegans are more mad than
Carnival's video was really good. Carnival's video was fun, man. He did a good job there.
the Henry Rollins video.
Yeah, that was cool, man. The biggest mistake that John did, basically, and it will all unwind and it will all find its place soon, I believe, is he used to be this vegan role model, this vegan bodybuilder, and people loved him for that, right? But then 1 year ago, or whatever the time frame, when he came out with his basically no longer vegan video, he lost a lot of subscribers, a lot of fan base, because those people saw it coming. That was already the admission that he is not vegan. Then they started hating him, but soon after, he came up with apologies, with a second channel, Vegan by John, and now they cannot love him anymore. And this is a really, really bad state to be in. Because, let's be honest, man, it is about polarity if you're talking about marketing. Either the people hate you or love you. Now, John is in a state where he cannot be loved or hated, which means he becomes irrelevant, which is not a place that you want to be in on YouTube.
Yeah, I agree, man. He's in limbo, huh? Because he's pissed off a lot of the prominent vegan YouTubers. They have to hold a hard line on you can never eat any animal foods or you were never really vegan, right? This cult mentality, and they shame people harder. They gaslight ex-vegans harder than Scientology does, right? Scientology, you try to leave Scientology, they get stalked, they get gaslit, they get called all sorts of names, they get demonized, their families get turned against them. Vegans are even harsher than Scientology on people who leave. You know, they don't shun them like the what's it called, the Amish. The Amish, they'll shun. And I think the Mormons will shun as well. But the vegans, they go full on like demonic torture techniques, psychological torture techniques. And here's John's. You want to check out John's response today? Let's see. You just tell me if you want to stop. If you jump in, I'll pause it.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm just kidding, guys. I didn't actually say anything. I apologize for the middle fingers, but
So, he starts off with an apology.
Yeah, exactly. And then he says he's not apologizing. It is always so apologetic and always trying to be liked, right? Hey, yeah, fuck you. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Oh, come on, man. Why? Always so super apologetic. He always needs the approval. It's sad.
Yeah. And is this because of veganism? Or is this just a cultural thing where, I don't know, maybe he grew up, around a situation like this in public schools? It just, I don't know, man. I don't see a reason in it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why you're going to bend over backwards to try to appease people who hate you. Vegan Gains, Corey McCarthy.
It's like the chicken and the egg, what was there first, the mental illness or veganism? That is the question. We do not know in those cases, right?
Yeah.
Could be either or.
I needed a thumbnail. Super passionate, a little bit pissed off right now. A couple of days ago, I posted a video about me experimenting with eggs. A very short experiment done in a way that I thought was worth it. But the video got picked up by a lot of other vegan YouTubers who basically sent a lot of hate. Hint, hint, Vegan Gains. Now, I'm not here to talk bad about anyone. I want to talk about what is the meaning of veganism and also how to handle hate. So if we take a look at the official definition of veganism from the Vegan Society, it says, veganism is a way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as is possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose instead of...
Okay.
So that's the definition of veganism. It's pulled up on the screen right there. That is the most wishy-washy, legalese, meaningless nonsense jargon ever. Imagine if this was a law, right? If veganism got put into a legal framework globally, which people like Joey Carbstrong, people like the Vegan Society, even transhumanist David Pierce, who is kind of this guy Cosmic Skeptic. I'm sure he looks up to David Pierce a lot. David Pierce started Humanity Plus. He's a transhumanist who's actually, as far as veganism goes, he's more consistent, right? So if you're a transhumanist, whatever is practicable or possible is anything, right? They believe that through technology, you're going to become gods. They believe that through technology, you can transcend all suffering, which they define as a physical thing, right? So in David Pierce's worldview, the transhumanist worldview, you can just become cyborgs. You can just have the soy slammed directly to your veins in your little pod while you're watching VR porn in a smart city coffin apartment. That's practicable and it's, possible and practicable. But for me and Bobby, what is our definition, right? Who fucking defines this stuff?
Yeah, and David Pierce is the guy that wants to turn carnivores into herbivores, right?
All
That's
of
the guy
them.
that wants to
All of
infuse them with
nature.
nano chips or whatever, make the
He wants to
lions
get
eat
rid
grass.
of all predation, of all death, and the way he wants to do this is not a joke. This is not just me being being extreme.
No, I read it as well.
He says, and I've talked about this on a few streams, David Pierce says that we need to eliminate all suffering everywhere. And of course,
Yep.
if you're, it's funny because the Buddhists say life is suffering, right? And David Pierce actually has a lot of ideas that do line up with like Buddhism and Hinduism. He says that we have to eliminate all suffering. So I just think it's so funny that a lot of these people, they say that the Eastern mysticism is so awesome, life is suffering, we must end all suffering. You're basically saying we have to end all life. So he wants to end predation by basically turning all animals into transhumanist, trans reality, trans speciest
Trans lines.
cyborgs.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and that's practical.
Yeah, but at least he's
impossible.
logically consistent. At least he's logically consistent. So he wants to extend his logic onto the natural world as well, right?
Yeah,
Well, that makes him definitely more consistent than the average vegan.
much more consistent.
But again, yeah, much more consistent. But again, it seems from what I understand, yet again, because it is very, very vague listening to John, I do not understand. However, when I try to make sense out of this, what he says is, let's check out the definition. So by that definition, it could mean anything. So hence, I ate a couple of eggs. Doesn't matter though, because now I'm eating plants. Now I'm vegan again. And this brings me back to when he was talking about long-term vegans. Yeah, okay, we know long-term vegans that look like shit. And then we know the chegans that will tell you they are vegan and they have fish once per week. So what is veganism? There is no clear-cut definition. And therefore, out of my perspective, John tries to weasel back into veganism by saying what he did was just a little experiment, practical as possible.
But John's being more honest about it by saying, look, I'm still vegan. This is the definition of veganism. Whereas all these other vegans, even vegan gains, he'll say John was never really vegan. He's a fake vegan. We had this guy says how to spot a fake vegan. Let's take a look at this video if you don't mind.
What's this?
This is, let's see. Can you see it?
Yep. Corey McCarthy.
Biceps and
Awesome.
butts.
Everyone, it's Corey McCarthy, and thank you for tuning in. As many of you
Never
know,
saw
I
a
don't
good quality
typically
video
do
of him,
drama or response
where you can really
videos,
see his body.
but I felt that I had something very specific to say about Jon Venus's recent egg admission. Or Jon Venus, as some might say. Now, I've defended Jon in the past. Back when Durian Rider was accusing him of being on the sauce. But as many of you likely know by now, Jon released a video on December 1st admitting to consuming a carton of 12 eggs about a year ago. I've linked that video below for you all to go and watch if you like, for at least as long as Jon
His
leaves
delivery,
it up.
man.
After all, he is no stranger.
Just get an extra layer of smarm on that voice. If it talks to you like this, it makes me feel more confident because I saw somebody do this and they sounded confident to me.
To deleting
pseudo
videos
anchor
due to
man.
backlash.
Fucking hell.
Now, I'm not making this video to criticize Jon for consuming eggs. Rather, I am criticizing his dishonesty and unscrupulous business practices related to consuming eggs.
See, this is what I don't get. These vegans are, look, the way that the conversation you and I just had, we were talking about, and at times, I definitely think there was some shadiness, some slippery use of the word truth and honesty by Jon, and I'd like more clarification. But from the vegan perspective, putting yourself in the vegan shoes, Jon came out and confessed his vegan sins to the world. He got in front of the god of veganism, the camera, right? The fake reflection that got blasted out into the ether of YouTube, and he confessed before the vegan gods. Yet it's not enough. He's saying he's being dishonest. What the hell's dishonest about that? He confessed.
Yeah, there is no going back, basically. Again, the hardcore vegans freely start this trend. You were never really vegan. You cannot make good, no matter if you confess or not. It's over, basically. That's what I'm saying. It's over for him either way. Now the carnivore camp doesn't like him, and the vegan camp doesn't like him either. He's neither here nor there. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, I don't know how there's a lot of people who seem to be on the side of, or not on the side, but there's a lot of people who are very critical of Jon in the chat. But then I'm seeing some people who are a little bit more accepting of Jon. I don't know. I think I think it might be split. I think a lot of the people in the so-called carnivore camp, which even this whole dialectic of carnivore versus vegan, this is a vegan frame game also, right? They want to make it seem like the only people that are critical of veganism are carnivores, right? So they say, oh, it's the carnivore movement who's trying to take out veganism. Whereas when you really look at the people, I mean, Bobby and I talking right now, right? I'm not saying that everybody needs to be carnivore. I think it's a powerful tool. I think it's a usable, useful tool, but in no way, shape, or form am I, and I don't speak for Bobby, but I've never heard Bobby say that everyone needs to be carnivore either. So I feel like there's a framing going on within the vegan movement trying to create a straw man of their enemy as the carnivores. No, dude, 97% of the world is not vegan. 97% of the world eats animal foods. This is not carnivores versus vegan. This is rural people who don't want their way of life destroyed, who don't want to be genocided in a global holodomor where we are forced to eat plant-based bullshit kibble rationed to us by these fake philanthropists like Jeffrey Epstein's BFF, Bill Gates, or Prince Philip, and his lovely philanthropist son, Prince Andrew. These people just want to save the planet by feeding us vegan food and getting rid of all the rural people. This is about way more than just what food choices people have and what people like to eat, right? Veganism has politicized their movement. Veganism is being leveraged by the global elite to push for an agenda of resource consolidation and of big tech, big ag, basically rationing us all resources in the name of sustainability, in the name of enlightenment. And that's why we're going to see a big push for lab-grown meat. All these vegans will embrace lab-grown meat very soon because it's clean, right? Because their corporate overlords have told them at the altar at which they worship, these black screens, your little monoliths that everybody's worshiping at, the overlords of those black screens of the altar of modernity, your computers, your televisions, are telling you that this is good. And that's my problem with veganism. I don't care what you eat. You want to be vegan? That's cool. You're going to feed your kid a vegan diet? I think it's child abuse. You're going to tell everybody else that they should eat a vegan diet? I think that's stupid. But if you're going to try to take our animals, if you're going to try to push us off the land, push us into smart cities and force us to do this slowly, right, incrementally, the only way we can stop this is through speaking out, is through pushing back. Sorry for the long rant, man.
No, that's cool, man. I like to hear your opinion on that. Anyways, the clean meat debacle is just exactly that. It is absolute craziness. It is already FDA approved. Memphis Meat has already approval without having a product. And that is insanity. That is by definition insanity. The vegans are all for it to expose people for the very first time to lab-grown meat, which has never been tested. Never has been tested because it doesn't exist in that form that they will sell it into the markets. It is impossible. So how can you say, I'm going to trust the FDA? It is already approved. How do you approve it without a product? Doesn't make sense. It's crazy, man.
Absolute insanity.
Yeah.
All right, so let's keep going with Corey McCarthy because, I don't know. Look at that screenshot right there of this guy.
Nice. Looking good.
That's a mentally and physically healthy man right there.
He's right wing,
claims
right?
that he
He's right wing guy. Is that what he is?
Yeah.
What's he? Is he like? What do you mean
right wing vegan?
That's
no,
funny.
he's alt right as far as I know.
Alt right. So
like very
is he like
alt-right
ethno state alt right kind of guy, like that type?
I think so. From what I heard, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I think his wife especially. His
Okay.
wife, and she should be some sort of prominent figure in the right wing movement, and she's for an ethno state. From what I heard, yeah.
Yeah. So some more controlled opposition.
White ethno states on vegan diet.
ever since, but
Awesome.
all
Yeah, white ethno state in America. How stupid! What larpers these people are, dude. These people are such larpers. And they don't understand that they've been
Fucking
duped
idiots.
into these controlled opposition movements that are simply there to discredit anybody who jumps into the honeypot. What the fuck?
we can really do is take his word on that. However, trust has understandably been breached at this point. Not only did it take Jon at least 1 fucking year to be honest about his egg consumption, no matter how brief it may have been.
Fucking year.
But
But
if you scroll back to the videos he was producing a year ago, it becomes clear that he was actually just posing. Granted, Jon doesn't really generate much income from YouTube.
granted.
Yeah, so it seems he's going right into Jon doesn't make that much money from YouTube. Jon makes money. I see where this is going. This dude wants Jon's money. This dude wants Jon's
You see-
audience.
But you see how emotional they are, right? 1 fucking year. It took him 1 fucking year. And then granted. See the psychological games that they play. It's absolutely unbelievable. And then they will say, when you talk to them face to face, no, vegans are not morally superior, right? No, it might appear so, but that is not true. I don't think that. They all believe it. They all have a absolute complex about it, man. You can see it in him as well. Granted, John, who are you? Who are you? How are you the authority on ethics all of a sudden?
Paul,
Unbelievable.
some people in the chat think that I'm saying that people shouldn't have ethnicity or something when I say that the ethno-state idea is ridiculous. I'm just saying, like, in the world you live in now, the ethno-staters, like, how are you going to create your ethno-state, right? You want to make every single nation, you want everyone to split up and create a bunch of little Israels everywhere, a bunch of little Israels all over the place. We'll all be ethno-states.
Exactly.
Come on, like you want war, you want to see a lot of chaos. Then you keep going towards that. Like I don't know. I'm not political in that I have critiques on both sides. The fake left and the fake right. They're both based on the same faulty metaphysical presuppositions of materialism, Darwinism, right? Nihilism, essentially. And I critique both of them. So I'm not saying that like anybody, I'm not saying all right-wingers are idiots or something like that. I'm just saying a lot of these people, they fall into these dumb honeypots and they think that they're advocating for something good. And in the end, these groups, it is a science. The steering of society, social engineering is a science, right? These people who understand how this works, right? Me being kind of one of them, but I don't steer these things. I'm not a social engineer. I just understand how these things work. You can steer these movements very easily. So yeah, just to clarify that. Don't get all upset with me, whoever is in there. If we've got I don't know. Some people just get butthurt. So let's come back. You want to watch a little more Corey, or are we done with that? He's kind of
Maybe a little bit. Click one last time.
Come from
Let's see what he has to
YouTube
say.
ads, at least not currently. Social Blade estimates John has earned between 89 and 1,400 US dollars in the last 30 days, but I'd narrow that to something more like 350 to 700 US dollars, going by my own experience with how views translate to revenue. So he really isn't making much from his videos, despite his subscriber count being around 363,000.
So all he cares about is subscriber count, how much money he's making. Starts off with his ads for his ebooks. Come on.
In fact, that is actually a poor conversion rate given the size of his channel. I mean, Jason Blaha, who has over 3 times fewer followers than John and is generally disliked by, well, everyone, made at least twice as much from ad revenue as John during this past month. Though still less than Jason claims. Sorry, but $600 to $1,200 US dollars per month doesn't equate to $50,000 or more per year. Not even fucking close. However, John does use his social media status as a means to promote his custom diet and workout plans, his coaching services,
and he does
even a
not
vegan
a lot.
recipe book, which is
He did the
clearly labeled
exact same
vegan,
thing.
as you can see here. So basically, John has
great.
been profiting from dishonesty.
Ridiculous.
Much in the same way that fake natties like my
Yeah.
All right.
Of course, I think we
Fake
saw
natty.
enough. It's again
natty.
vegan projection, man. Like you're advertising yourself. Now it's John's fault. You all do the same. Everybody
It's all
tries to make
jealousy.
money on YouTube. Why would he be different? It doesn't make
Just
sense.
all jealousy, right? So he wants the money, he wants the attention. John doesn't deserve it, and he's also what he's probably really jealous about is that John got to eat some fucking eggs. He's jealous that John ate the eggs. He wants some damn eggs.
They all want to. But he is just jealous of John's position because John is still somewhat the vegan bodybuilder, and this is what Corey McCarthy tries to do for the past, I don't know, 10 years, and never happened for him. This is why he's jealous. Anyways,
Yeah.
bro, I'm gonna tune out pretty soon, I would say.
Yeah, let's
Want
read
to
the
grab a
super
bite
chats
street?
and
I'm gonna.
bounce. I gotta get going
Yeah.
too. Let's
Okay.
read these super chats and we'll finish it up. We got.
Cool.
We just gotta refresh this. And boom. All right, we
Okay.
got some more super chats here. We've got Judas Romo says, "Will y'all do more videos like this, vegan hot seat style?" Of course, absolutely. Always enjoy having Bobby on. I enjoy having John on. I enjoyed talking to Leo. I think we might do Leo and Bart K might do a debate. I'm not, how much interest is there in that? I'm not sure how much interest there is in that. We might have to add someone else to that one. I'm just Leo's debate, the last debate with Sean. Let me just expand on that a little bit. All right, so Leo's last debate, we didn't get to talk about this. Reflecting on that, he made a video about Sean Baker, calling him out, saying, "You have no science. Sean's science bad. Meat man bad. Leo science good. Leo top of hierarchy of evidence." So I tell Leo, "Hey, come on for a debate with Sean Baker." And I told him the topics we're going to talk about. I told him the time a week ahead of time. he came in to the debate, and again, just like in his video that he made about Sean Baker, said that he didn't know anything about Sean. He has no idea anything that Sean talks about, and he, at the end of after the debate, tried to say that he didn't even prepare at all. I think this is a little bit disingenuous. This dude had a week to prepare. He, a month before, had made a video, maybe even 2 months. I think it was like October 3rd or something, that he put that video out about Sean Baker. So that was a little bit dishonest. I felt like his debate skills were lacking. He didn't really make a point at all. He talked a lot in circles, and I didn't see any points being made. So I think it'd be interesting to see him and Bart debate, but I want it to be different. I don't want it to just be the same old, no points are being made, talking in circles. What did you think about that one?
We saw in the chat on that debate, the chat was going crazy. Everybody said that Leo is basically saying nothing. It was quite tiresome to watch it. He was repeating himself. He was going nowhere. So for that debate, I told you that via WhatsApp as well. I would recommend a time frame. So 2 minutes talk, make your point concise. Then the other party talks. 2 minutes, equal times. Then 1 minute maybe for a little discussion, open discussion. And that's it. Like that will be much more dynamic.
Yeah. It still sounds kind of, I don't know. We got to see. We'll see what the audience demand is. You guys in the audience, what do you think? Debate? Bart already has a debate scheduled with Leo, says Jack. Okay, that's cool. If they're going to do it on Bart's channel or something, that's all good. We talked about doing it on here. We'll see what happens. All right. Leo and John both say nothing, says honest AF. I saw, oh wait. All right, never mind. I got a few more super chats here, and then we'll bounce. All right, so I don't understand this guy. He seems like a sweetheart, but he's the definition of a soy boy. What is his personality? Children are dying on this diet. So obviously, Way KLM was talking about Bobby there. What do you think about that, Bobby?
Yeah, it hurts me deep in my soul. I don't think I'm going to find any sleep tonight.
Way KLM, be easy on Bobby. Be easy on him.
Obviously, about John, I agree with that, man. It is very irresponsible. We see children dying all the time on the vegan diet. I have a whole report here, man, of 100 different cases of malnutrition on vegan diets. It's absolutely disgusting. And to promote this just under the false premise of intention is absolutely disingenuous and ridiculous and very dangerous. Intention. I have good intentions. Come on, man.
I don't believe in good, but if you have good intentions, it's good.
That's good.
All right, Eli Hernandez, $2 says, "Yo, Venus, vegan is NWO diet. Be normal, eat meat." We've got a couple other ones. Where to go? Woofa Boofa, I like that name. $2 says, "Is a scavenger diet the most ethical diet?" I wish I got to ask that. Durian Rider would say yes. If you buy meat and then you put it in a garbage can and then you pull the meat out of the garbage can, it is vegan. Or if you go to a butcher and he gives you the meat, Durian Rider says that is vegan. He also says it's fine to eat eggs that you find. If the chickens are just roaming free and you take the eggs and eat them, it's fine. And if you feed your cat...
That's like Eastern.
Yeah, so he's got a very interesting... He seems like... And now he is also a trans vegan phobe, though, because he has said mean things about me, so he's another one of those transphobes. Hopefully YouTube is not a transphobe and they leave my channel after the next purge. But I think that's everything, guys. We got... Oh, wait. Resting Bitch Face. One of the best names out of any profile on YouTube says, for $9.99, thank you for the super chat, says, "I pity anyone who feels they have to apologize for their food choices. John owes no one an explanation for going to any local farmer for sustenance of any kind. Screw slave rations." Well said.
Yep.
Yeah.
That again brings it back to his audience, man. Honestly, being in that environment for far too long, this is what happens to your mind. You become insane. It is just what will happen after being exposed to so many vegans. He goes to those vegan festivals and whatnot. Of course, after a while, you will take like them. You will try to cater to their little feelings, right? They're all snowflakes. Oh, I ate some eggs. Sorry. If you're in a position where you have to apologize for eating eggs, man, you're at the wrong place.
Yeah. The only people... Well said, man. I think the only people that should apologize for their food choices are the people that have promoted a vegan diet and influenced people to go vegan or malnourish their kids on a vegan or vegetarian diet, right? If you're malnourishing your kids, you should definitely apologize to them when they grow up. because I mean the damage that can be done through malnutrition, and this malnutrition that's being systematically promoted as enlightenment, as good for the environment, as a way to save the planet. The people who are promoting this should one day apologize to their kids and everyone they've influenced. That's the only time people should apologize for their diet, if they've influenced people to harm themselves with these vegan diets.
Terrible.
So that's why
there is no going back. There's no going back of this. If you look at the dropout rate yet again, but this is in adults. What do you do with kids? You know how many people reached out to me on my channel and they've been brought up vegetarian and they're still healing from the damage. They found carnivore in their later life when they were 30 or 40 and they're healing off their damage from their childhood, man. Do you know what kind of hate must that be towards your parents? That is disgusting. Look what you're creating. Repulsive.
Yeah, well, and you saw in the 70s, there was a lot of these new age cults that people got involved in. I've actually met a lot of these people from like the Osho cult, the Rajneesh cult, and stuff like that. And these people were vegetarian very, very long term, right? A lot of these people are still into the Rajneesh stuff. They have crystals that Osho touched and shit like that, or like a piece of the marble from Osho's bathroom. And they think that that's going to make them enlightened, but they're still on vegetarian, vegan diets. And a lot of these people, they're in their 70s, right? Wow. These are boomers up in their 70s, and dude, these boomers are fried, right? They are fried. Most of them didn't have kids because Osho made them sterilize themselves, a lot of them, and get abortions when they got pregnant. But if you look at these people that come out of these new age cults, which always involves a malnutrition aspect and a change of diet, right? Changing the diet, malnourishing people. This is a method of cult control. And you can look at like the FBI's document the FBI put out this document in the 80s. Let me pull this up. It's going to be the last point I make. And I'm getting out of here. I got my kids playing outside. But I do want to show this document. There it is.
Change the diet and remove them from their families. That is the main step of a cult.
Yep, and that is one of the main tools that they use. They change the diet. I guess I'll have to drag this up over us. And
yeah, it's in the background.
There we go. This is the DOJ released this in, I think, the 93, and it's talking about some of the things that they do. Isolation, hypnosis, peer group pressure, love bombing, removal of privacy, sleep deprivation and fatigue, games, right? Just gaming, playing weird mental, psychological games like you see on vegan YouTube, meta communication, no questions, confusing doctrine, right? As much as practicable and possible, confusing doctrine, very important there. Confession, we just talked about that today. Guilt, fear, chanting and singing, disinhibition. Change of diet. All right, so the change of diet, disorientation and increased susceptibility to emotional arousal achieved by depriving the nervous system of necessary nutrients through the use of low protein, childlike food. And if you look at the Finders documents, which are very, very interesting. If you guys haven't looked into the Finders, and I was talking about getting kicked off of YouTube. I shouldn't be talking about this shit, but look into the Finders cult. And let's see, where'd it go? Change of diet, right there. You can see in the middle. This is very, very important for manipulation of the psyche, for isolating people from their family and from their life. And veganism uses every single one of these tactics to keep their cult members under control. But yeah, it's been a good talk. It's been an interesting talk. It's been really fun. Bobby, always welcome back. Let's do it again. If you get any, if you guys in the chat have any suggestions, maybe leave a comment on the video. Who do you want us to talk to next? I mean, we've got who else? We got Hench Herbivore, vegan, up in the chat. We've got.
That's not the real one.
It's not the real one, of course. Who else? What other vegans are in the chat? I don't see many real vegans in there. But who else?
They have all fake profiles.
Yeah, there's a lot.
They're watching with fake profiles for sure.
There's a fake Bobby.
Don't want to
profile.
be seen.
Someone put a fake Bobby profile in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah. Right,
He's harmless though.
We'll see if we get Joey Carbstrong on. Let's see if we get Joey Carbstrong on next. Joey Carbstrong.
That will never happen.
Come on, Joey.
Let's get Joey and Edward Gaunt on. Both.
Edward Gaunt, Joey Carbstrong, James Aspie. We have all of you guys on the list. We'd love to have a conversation. I'd love to have a conversation. And Jon Venus, I'm sorry if Bobby in my head gave you, seeing both of these bald domes. I'm sorry if that gave you flashbacks to the eggs. Hypnotic induction of
mind games.
Think about eggs.
Mind games.
Yeah. Sorry if my bald
Give another
head.
super chat. You have one more super chat,
Where'd it go?
Tristan.
There we go. Live and let live. What is that? Is that euros? That's
Euros. That's euros.
€5. Is variety of meat fish important, or is it fine eating the same meat fish for a longer period? Thanks. All right, so there's some people who find that mono eating for long periods of time is perfectly enjoyable and sustainable for them, and I will not tell them that they're wrong, right? If you just want to eat steak all the time and you're remitting your autoimmune condition like Michaela Peterson, if that allows you to function and live, I'm cool with it. I'm all about what works, right? I eat a variety of meat and fish, different cuts. I like to eat, I really like kidney. I like to have kidney regularly. There was a period where I was doing some liver regularly. I mean, there were years where I was eating liver regularly. I got to a point where I just don't crave liver anymore. So I kind of do listen to my body. I do listen to the cravings I get, and I know how to read my body. And of course, I've trained myself how to read my body, because the body can be a damn liar sometimes, right? Like John's body, he said his brain told him to eat eggs, but obviously eggs are bad, and he gagged on them, so therefore no one else needs to eat eggs. But yeah, I do a variety, and I like to teach people how to use a variety of cuts of meat, a variety of different foods. But is it absolutely necessary to be constantly mixing it up? Many people would say no, and I'm not going to fault them. If they're doing what works for them, I'm cool with it. I'm about what works for you in your context, in your situation, in your life. What works for me today might not be optimal for me in 1 week. What works for you today might not be optimal for me. So we got to figure out what works for us in our context. And hey, I like a variety. I enjoy variety.
Well said. I would say the same. For me personally, I do enjoy life. I do enjoy food. I do enjoy expensive cuts of sashimi as well, and caviar sometimes. It's delicious. So therefore, yes, for me, variety is important. However, if we look at a tribal context, for example, where people ate the animals that are around, you can see that there's nothing wrong with eating pretty much the same animals over and over again. There's nothing wrong with it. It just comes down to your own preference. And I personally do enjoy variety as well. Yep.
Yeah, I think a variety of cuts is nice, and eating the same cut, eating just ribeyes all the time, like I don't know, I wouldn't personally enjoy it.
Yeah.
But when I hear Michaela and Sean Baker, he's obviously performing really well, eating mostly ribeyes, has some fish every once in a while. So yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, it's what works for you. So today, what I had for breakfast, I just had eggs. I just had eggs with butter for breakfast because I had 2 meals yesterday that were really big, of eggs and slow cooked meat, and then I had another meal with carbohydrates. But yeah, it's about your context, guys. So anyways, we're going to wrap this up. If you want to support the channel, feel free to make a donation there's a PayPal link down below if you do want to donate. If you want to become a member, of our private forum where we do coaching calls about every other week, you can join us at primaledgehealth.com/members. And what else? The current Keto and Carnivore Collective, our group coaching, we just started yesterday. So we did the first meeting yesterday. Really good group. Didn't advertise it that much, so we got a little smaller, more intimate group this time. That is our group coaching. If you do want a late sign up for that, you can hit us up at primaledgehealth.com. And what else? We've got the 21-day carnivore diet meal plan, the 21-day this quick start guide to carnivory, and 21-day carnivore diet meal plan available at primaledgehealth.com. And what else is new? Got a few recipes up on the site. And I don't know. Follow me on Instagram. You get updates there. Tristan Haggard on Instagram. No, I'm sorry. Primal Edge Health on Instagram. Tristan Haggard on Twitter. You can find Bobby at Bobby's Perspective. Is it Bobby's Perspective everywhere?
Bobby's Perspective, yep, on Instagram as well. But I don't do much on Instagram, honestly. I'm not going to advertise for it. I post rarely. So just on YouTube.
YouTube. Yep. Check out Bobby. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out, bigots.
Bro. Peace.